All right, we are live. Do I have everything working? We are live. Whoa, okay, looks like it's working. Cool. I can't tell if it's working, if there's anyone in here. Yes, 11 people. Hi, guys. 14 views. Okay, yes, it's working. Great. What is up? Welcome to the Q&A. Glad you guys can make it, and I'm sure we'll have people come and go. Oh, wow. A bunch of people are flooding in. Welcome. So, welcome to the Q&A. If you don't know already, which you probably do, I'm Sir Wade. You probably follow me. If you don't, welcome. So I had anybody who was here earlier go ahead and submit any questions they wanted answered, and I said I would answer those first. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is answer those questions. So the setup here is pretty much doing a Q&A for probably, I don't know how long we'll do it for. We'll do a Q&A until we're done. I have a notebook, so I'm taking suggestions of video ideas and that kind of stuff, anything you guys are asking for, that kind of stuff, feedback-wise, making notes of stuff, and I will go back and go through the comments of this. When this live stream ends, the video becomes unlisted. So if you got an email or something like that about this live stream, if you were notified in some way that this is going to be happening, that notification should allow you to come watch it later. But if you're not sure, if you have an email or something and you want to be able to watch this later, then you should take the URL from this YouTube thing at the top, take that, put it in a notepad document, save it somewhere, because once I hit stop broadcast, this public video becomes unlisted and you can find it only with that link. I'm not going to leave it up for people to find on their own. So first thing I'm going to do is answer the questions that were initially here before we started, and I know which ones those are, so I'll do those first, and then we have other stuff to discuss as well. Wow, a lot of new people. Hi, everybody. Okay, so answering the questions that were here earlier from, let's see, hello to everybody. Okay, Chaos Proxy has the first question. Can I do a demo or a future tutorial around eye shape and animation and the do's and don'ts surrounding it? Eye shape, I'm assuming, which I'm pretty sure, in case anyone else is wondering, eye shape meaning what shape should the eyes take when you're animating, things about like flat lines and curves and, oh, I have a whiteboard, I can use that. Anyway. Yeah, if I'm understanding correctly, be a video about like eyes, eye direction, eyebrows. This is a terrible drawing. How that would all come to be. That's a horrible drawing. Sorry. I got excited about drawing and I didn't do so well. Anyway, yes, I can put that on the list. I wrote it down. Eye shapes. I might have to get someone who's a little bit better. I know enough about it to talk about it, but to make a really good video, I might need to get someone who's a little bit more, has more expertise in the field, but that is a great idea. Scottish Phoenix has 10 questions, and I'm going to go through them kind of quickly because I know a lot of people have lots of questions, but I will answer all of them. 3ds Max or Maya, both are good, doesn't matter. You're going to learn one or the other for whatever studio uses. Like if they use one or the other, you're going to have to learn that at the time you work there, if not before. I recommend Maya because I'm aware of a lot of studios using Maya. I know 3ds Max is used a lot as well. Both are fine, whichever one gives you the results. The software is not important as the skill, but I recommend Maya personally just because that's what I use, but that's an opinion. ZBrush or Mudbox. This one is a little bit less of an opinion. ZBrush is winning. Mudbox is losing traction in some scopes, so I would recommend ZBrush of the two. Character or environment. Not sure what you mean. There's jobs and stuff for both, so whichever one you like more. And then cat rigs or bones, I don't know what, I'm not a rigger, I don't know what those are, so sorry I can't answer that one. How do you paint weights when skinning? With a lot of patience. It's something I hate doing, but some people are very good at it, and it's good because someone has to. We'll see about a video on that one. I don't know. I don't like weight painting at all. Mental Ray or Arnold? Arnold, all the way. I do not recommend Mental Ray compared to the other renderers that are out there. I used to use Mental Ray, but it's a pain. How do you do hair? Personally, I don't do much hair, but when I do, I use XGen in Maya. Have I ever used hair and fur? And what is my experience and advice? Kind of. I've used it from a training capacity. We had to teach XGen classes at DreamWorks, and I had to help put that curriculum together. So I do know a lot about XGen. I'm not the expert at it. I did not build the curriculum myself, but I learned the curriculum from the people who did build it so that I could reteach it to anyone who needed to know it. It's been a while since I've used it, so I'm not an expert at it, but I could answer some questions about it maybe. I'd have to go back through my notes, though. But yeah, I mean, hair and fur, and if you need it, like it's not as hard as it could be, as hard as it used to be. It's doable. What is your advice on high detailed models, cars, buildings, characters, etc.? I think they're great and they're awesome and they're hard to do if you don't have any experience doing the basic stuff. So start small and build your way up. Think big, broad shapes before you start going for little details. Hope that answers that. And then any advice on sculpting? Any advice on sculpting? I don't do much sculpting. My advice, if you want to be doing sculpting, my advice would be just to keep doing it and do lots of it, and then try some stuff like VR. There's a lot of like VR sculpting and stuff that's really cool. So just like play with stuff and see what you like. But as far as like techniques and stuff, I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of experience with sculpting itself. Okay, moving down, we have a few more questions from people who were here before we started, and then I'll actually get to see all the. I see a lot of people have said hello. I haven't gotten to those comments yet, so I'm scrolling down from the top. I will get to you in a second. Another 10 questions from Scottish Phoenix. No, I answered these. Oh, sorry. It's coding with, I don't know how to say this, but hello, I recognize your name. Coding with, I don't know. What was your path of learning animation, how you started, what you started with, and how fast you grasped the subject? As far as what was my path, I have several videos on that, and I have a blog post on Animation Mentor's website, so I'm not going to get into too much detail. I didn't know animation was a thing. When I discovered it, I decided to go for it, and it worked out. So check out the video for the details. But how fast I grasped the subject, lucky for me, I grasp animation concepts pretty quickly. My background of computer science and physics and just the miscellaneous things and classes I've taken and stuff I've done and being techie and stuff has all kind of led to this nice culmination where the animation concepts come fairly easy to me compared to other things that don't come so easily to me. So I feel like I grasped it pretty fast comparatively to how fast I grab other things. You're learning animation on your own. You have no connection in main industry. Any advice for me to connection? No one ever has a connection in the industry at first, except for the people who like have relatives. But most people don't have relatives, so don't worry. You're not behind anybody. To make connections, Facebook groups, comments of my videos, anywhere you can have a community of people who are interested in the same things, or networking events. CTN is a big one. I'll make videos about that coming soon, but CTN is big, Animation Convention in Burbank every year. Highly recommend going there. It's a big reason I got the job at DreamWorks before I left. How good are you at other 3D stuff like modeling and rigging? Modeling, I'm okay. Not at characters. I can do environments and props and stuff. Well, I can do props and inorganic assets. I did a video on that. But characters, I'm no good at rigging, at modeling, and rigging I'm terrible as well. I can do basic rigging, but nothing. But aside from that, like modeling and rigging aside, I can do surfacing pretty okay. Texturing, something I learned from being involved with that department at DreamWorks. They taught me a lot of stuff. And then lighting, I'm okay. Also, I had to teach a lot of lighting stuff, so I had to get decent at that. So just depends. Can I do critique videos, like when we send the work and I choose some out of the critique? So to answer the question, can I critique people's work? I can, and I do it from time to time with Animation Mentor students and different friends who ask and that kind of thing. And I'm nervous to make videos about it because I don't want to like put my opinion out in the world and what if I'm wrong over time or like I change my mind. I don't know. It feels weird putting it on there. But I am opening up to doing it with people. And in case no one, so I'm not stuttering. Side note for everyone who's here, a lot of people have been asking for Q&As, kind of like this. I've only done like 2 or 3 of these in the whole year I've been doing YouTube. I think this is like number 3, so what's up? Q&As, demos and lessons and classes and work, critiquing your work, and a bunch of that type of stuff. You guys have been requesting that full shot walkthroughs, things that take up a lot of time. And I'm super open to it. I just want to point out a new thing. I mentioned this in the last live stream I did, that I decided to create a page that's totally optional. You can ignore this if you don't want to, even think about it. That's fine. I won't be offended. I've created a Patreon page that I have limited amounts of time, and a lot of that time I try to make videos, and then the rest of it I have to pay the bills by doing freelance work and that kind of stuff, which I saw questions about, and I'll get to that. I can spend more time on videos and content and stuff to teach you guys, like one-on-one, actually teach you things, like do Maya classes. I can do more of that if I don't have to spend as much time freelancing. So if you're interested in that, if it's not a requirement, I'm still making videos, like don't stress. But if you're interested in those extra stuff, those extra things, I made a Patreon page. I'm going to take a quick second to just show you the page. Application window, Chrome, share. There. So I made this page. If you're interested, you don't have to do it, obviously. There is a video here. If you're curious, basically it's patreon.com/SirWade. That is the URL. And there's rewards, basically. I don't know. I want to show you some stuff. Here is a good example. Video voting is something I'm doing on here where you guys can see the actual video schedule I'm making, and you can pick some of the videos to vote on yourself of what you want to see. For example, time management, acting lesson. Oops, sorry. I'm going to, go away. How do I undo that? Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Painting in VR. You guys can read. Constraints, play blasting. These are all videos I plan on doing, but you guys can vote on which ones you want more immediately. Like this one I've never talked about, reviewing game animation. I want to kind of, it's not like a let's play games, but I want to go through games and just call to draw attention to great animation in games that we all love. So anyway, yeah. And then one of these things is like demos. I don't know. I don't want to get too into this right now. I just wanted to point it out that if you guys are interested, in getting exclusive access to the stuff I'm working on, which includes if you want the project files for all of my videos, like if I do stuff in Maya, if I'm doing stuff in After Effects, if I'm doing stuff in any software and you want the project file so you don't have to like recreate it on your own, or if you can't, I make all the project files available as of the recent video. That's already on here if you wanted it. If you want to vote on the upcoming videos, you get to pick 2 videos each month, and I'm upping the amount of videos that I'm working on each month, so you guys get to pick the videos yourselves, vote on them. There will be monthly Q&As like this one, and it'll be Q&As for 2 hours, and they'll be recorded for you to rewatch whenever you want. And those won't be like a thing you have to like grab the link, like they'll be just sitting there for you to rewatch whatever you want. I even found a platform that if you ask a question, it'll tag it so that if you were rewatching it, you could see all the questions that were asked, and you could click on it, and it'll take you to the time that it was asked. Anyway. And then software demos and lessons where I'm actually teaching you for 2 to 3 hours, and you can always watch those or else recorded as well. Same deal in like a Maya class for 2 hours that I recorded. All that type of stuff, critiques, reviewing your work, your reels, portfolios, all that stuff are optional things that you don't have to worry about if you don't want to, but if you want to, they're available. I'm doing it through Patreon because it works better with the whole scheduling thing that way. Also, there's like a goal thing that like if enough people join and do that, then I'll have enough time to do it's on the page somewhere. But it says if we hit a goal, then I have enough time to do a full shot walkthrough, like totally everything from planning, blocking, all the way through polish, the whole thing. So if that interests you, patreon.com/SirWade. I'm going to move on and talk about another topic. So there's that. Okay. Blender Guru does videos. Oh yeah, so I would, yeah, I'm gonna consider critiques and stuff. Can you make a tutorial on textures and shaders? Yes, that's on my list. Animation movie workflow, also on my list if I understand that correctly. Where do I work as a freelancer? Any specific websites? I've had no luck with any websites, unfortunately. I'm not a very good freelancer if I'm supposed to be doing websites. That's mostly just through people I know. Sometimes people reach out because of YouTube, which is nice. I haven't had a lot of projects yet. Mostly it's just people I know who refer me or that kind of thing. But if anyone knows like a better way to do freelance, let me know. Because how to do VFX in animation videos? Terrible with Bifrost, blah, 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 blah. Explosions, power effects. I do most of that in After Effects, but I can make a note to do like Bifrost and effects videos. Okay. How do you stay so focused, full of energy all the time in the video? Okay, so actually, if you watch my old videos, I'm like, hi guys, welcome to the thing, but it's super boring. I'm trying to be more energetic. It's hard to stay focused and full of energy on camera because it's weird to talk to a camera. And like, I know I'm talking to you guys, but at the time that I'm recording it, I don't know if anyone's ever going to see it. So it's just like I'm talking to a camera. So it's hard to stay energetic. My wife is a YouTuber, and I'm learning from her because she's a lot more bubbly. And anyway, it's hard. It's not easy. Do I still use Facebook? I do, but I probably use it the least of most of the social platforms. I'm terrible about replying in Facebook and that. Okay, I finally hit the bottom of the stuff from earlier, so now I get to say hi to everybody. Hello, everybody. Brontide, Jags, thank you. Looking fresh. This is a super old shirt. Thank you. E-Man, what's up? Ender, thank you. Sean on the Tubes, Megapixel, Yosef, Desiree, is it Desiree? Prem, Shubham. Mile Tunes, where's the XP Pen tablet? It's actually on my desk. I don't have room on the current setup. It kind of gets in my way because I don't have, now with the L desk, it's in the way. I don't have another HDMI. It's a whole thing. I'm in the process of upgrading my tech here, so a lot of my stuff isn't here. But I have it. I still use it when I need to. Blocking process in auto mode or step mode. What do you prefer? Depends on the shot. Blocking, I usually prefer to do like my first couple poses in stepped, and then when I'm like adding a bunch of keys throughout the thing, I'll switch to spline. Unless I'm not planning on watching it a whole lot and just kind of keep my eyes fresh, then I just keep it in stepped. But I think the short answer would be stepped with lots of keys. Rashawn, thank you. VFX, visual effects, like taking, like if I had this shot, or like if we had this camera view and I went like this and we had like explosion come out of my hand, you know, visual effects. Advice on animation principle. I have a lot. We'll have to do a video or something. That's a lot of stuff to talk about. Alex says, from someone who can't get into the animation mentor for another year, how can you learn to use Maya? Actually trying to get into the animation industry, more as a DreamWorks myself. Totally get it. If you can't get into animation mentor yet, or if anyone else is trying to consider something like that, but it's expensive, I understand budgets. How can you learn to use Maya? 2 answers for that, 3 answers for that. One is like self-teaching tutorials, which is hard, but it's possible. It's much easier to be taught. With that, I'm starting to do Maya tutorials. I've just begun. I just did my first one a couple days ago. So if you guys haven't seen like the how to build your own robots, which is also a parenting tutorial, I made that. So I'll be doing tutorials on Maya. But if you want to do actually like instructional stuff, I mentioned the whole Patreon thing. I'm actually going to be teaching Maya classes through that. And if anyone's wondering, I was the teacher for all the Maya curriculum at DreamWorks. I would teach the whole Maya I called it Maya Refresher. And it was a series of courses, each about an hour or 2 long, that taught modeling and then surfacing. And then we did like a little bit on rigging. And we just went through the whole pipeline, and I taught Maya. So if anyone's interested in that, that's kind of what I'm talking about on the whole Patreon thing. That's what I want to teach. So I think I have a link. I don't know if I have a link anywhere. Do I have a link? I'm going to see if I can't tell. I'm going to put it in the description. No, I can't. It's too late. Well, patreon.com/SirWade if you want to check that page out. I'm going to just kind of drop it in. If you're interested, I dropped the link in. Sorry, trying to keep up with the comments. There's a lot. Awesome. Magic Mao, hiya. Mickey Mouse is here. Hey, I always want to be a film animator. What's the process to get to DreamWorks? A lot of work, a lot of stuff on your demo reels. And for a lot of people, working at smaller studios first. Most people don't go straight to DreamWorks. So don't sneer at like game opportunities and TV opportunities. Like a lot of people want to. I only want to do film animation. I don't want to do other animation. You have to be more open to get experience wherever you can. So don't just get focused on like I only want to do this type of animation. Like you'll gain experience and stuff through a lot of things. So be open. Mikhail asks, does the modeling team paint or color their model, or does a separate team do that? At DreamWorks, the modeling team will assign kind of base colors and shades, but they won't do any of like the final stuff. They'll just kind of give an idea of like, okay, like that's blue, that's red. You know, they'll do kind of a first pass at the general colors, but those will change and evolve, and the surfacing or texturing team will actually take care of that. So there's a different team. At DreamWorks, other studios that are smaller, usually you might have a kind of a mixed thing. Zachary and Dude, best recommended book for animation references, 3D and 2D. I don't know. I haven't looked up many books lately. I know obviously like the Animation Survival Guide, Illusion of Life, those books. I have a video on gift ideas, and I have a lot of books in there. But other than that, I don't know. Jacob Grant, best books to learn anatomy for character creation. Ooh, that's a good one. To learn anatomy, I would just guess like anatomy textbooks or that kind of stuff, but I'm not sure. Desiree, any book recommendations? Wow, a lot of book recommendations. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to make a note that you guys want books for 3D, for animation, for all this stuff. So making a note of that. Brad Chambers, do I have any quick tips for flight animation? Yes. Don't think of this thing that, you know, like, oh, I'm going to fly. This is the furthest thing from the truth when it comes to flight animation. There's so much more complexity to the way that, and you know, and it's not swimming through the air either. Like people try to like make it like this swimming thing. It's not. Flight is so much more complex. DreamWorks did a whole like flight school thing, and I got to like be a part of it and learn from it. I don't know how to sum it up, but really think about, if you're doing flight animation, don't think as much, obviously the wings are important, but don't think about like the wing motion. Think a lot about like, what is the air in between, like the space, the air itself, like what is the air doing? Because it's a matter of, you know, air is a fluid and it's pushing in all different directions, and you've got air pressures and wind and updrafts, and you have all these other forces that are acting on the wings in addition to the actual motion. Actually, if I had to give you one tip about flight animation, it would be this. You've probably seen, this is a good one, this is a really good one. If you guys have seen almost any show, any movie, anything where there's like a dragon or a bird or like anything where something's like taking off, what most people do when the thing takes off is, I'm just going to act it out, I'm not going to draw it. I'm going to try and act out the whole dragon thing. So you guys have seen in probably a lot of movies where like if a dragon or something is about to take off, they do this thing where like they squat low to the ground and the wings come up and they go and they fly up into the air. Like if you like look up the third Hobbit movie, or the second one, the end of the second Hobbit movie, where Smaug comes out, busts out the wall, and just up with one wing burst, this giant massive dragon lizard thing goes flying like 1,000 feet into the sky and like floats around. Like one wing thing is going to get him from the ground. Like, no. There's two things to take away from this, is that one, if you're going to do flight, one wing burst is not enough to get anything like flying through the air. That's not realistic, and people are going to call you out on it in the industry. The second thing is that birds and dragons, like the anatomy of it would not work to like raise the arms and then do this to push off the ground. Think of it like people. Like if you think about like the bird is doing this in the movies, the birds go up and they go whoosh, but you don't jump like that. Like think about how you would jump. You wouldn't put your arms in the air and then throw them down to like get into the air. And people, oh, but like they're pushing the air. No. The best way to do it is to maximize your muscle, your energy expense. So like if you're about to like climb a tree, you're not gonna like grab the tree and try to pull yourself up because your legs are way stronger than your arms. And that comes into play with birds and dragons. So what they would do is, like if you're doing that, you would jump and then you would grab the tree and then you'd pull, because you already have jump upward momentum. And as you're going up, you grab the tree and then you pull, and it doubles your, you know what I'm trying to say. So instead of, if you're animating a dragon, putting the arms up and squatting and then trying to lunge up like that, have them like spread their wings out here and then jump, and then put their arms, their wings, talons, whatever, have them, squat, spread out, jump, and then take off. And it's going to be much more believable, and you won't have wings crash through the floor and intersect with the floor. Otherwise, a lot of rigs, they intersect the floor and it gets weird. So I got all out of breath. I got all excited about the question. Hope that's helpful for one tip about flight animation. Anyway, when did I first use Maya? 4 or 5 years ago? I only started using Maya 2013, 2014, somewhere around there. I opened it for the first time, so not that long. And do I recommend Blender? Nothing wrong with Blender. I've never used Blender. I opened it once in middle school and I was like, this looks complicated, and never touched it again. Maya is also complicated, but I learned it. Maya you can also get for free. Anyone who's like, well, Blender is free. Maya is free too. You just get a student license. It's, you don't even have to have a .edu account. So I recommend grabbing Maya, but nothing wrong with Blender. Christian, currently studying animation at Jefferson University, about to go into senior year. Would you still recommend Animation Mentor if I mainly just learn the program of Maya? If you want to be an animator, yes, I recommend Animation Mentor. They assume that a lot of students have never touched Maya when you begin, and if you're worried about it, they do have a Maya workshop as well. I've never taken it, but I know it's there. Yeah, Animation Mentor is good for all levels, if that's what you want to do, because I know people are worried about the price. Visual Bug, if you start again, at learning character animation, what would I do differently? If I restarted my education on character animation, I would work harder. You get in what you put out. You get out what you put in. I worked pretty hard, but I would work harder at it. What would I do differently if I started character animation now? That's a good question. I'm gonna write that down as a video idea because I don't know off the top of my head. What would I do differently? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. That's a really good question. Oh, jumped. Okay. Coding. Why not start your own animation school like Animation Mentor? I don't have the experience to start a school like Animation Mentor. I would never claim to know that much. And it's a lot of infrastructure. I don't want to compete with them. Like, they're doing a good enough job. Like, I don't need to get into that space. There are lots of things I want to teach, but I don't need to be competing with Animation Mentor. They are great and they can do their thing because they're way more successful at it than I would be. Shephem says, dynamic rig or normal rig, which rig do you prefer more? I don't know. I'm not a rigger. So when it comes to like the methods of building rigs, I have no idea what's best. I just know a couple Maya tools that help me rig small stuff that I need to get in my shots. But I don't know for that type of thing. If you gave me 2 rigs with different features and said, which one do you like better, I could tell you. But that's from an animation point of view. My wife is here. Hello. Sharpness Night Studios. Can 3D previs help with scenes of 2D animated characters on a 3D environment? Totally. I don't know if that would be the best way. 3D previs for 2D animated character. I mean, yeah, I mean 3D previs, depending on like what you're doing. If you have like a 2D flat characters in a 3D world, which I think is what I read, then like yeah, if you are gonna previs that with 3D and you just have like 2D stuff, like yeah, I think it could work. Just depends on how you're gonna use it. But yeah, totally. It would totally help. Sean on the tubes. Oh, we're appreciating the community from Glasgow. Nice. I like when you guys connect and talk to each other in the comments. It feels like we're building a community. I love it. Brontide, how has getting first as a freelancer been going? Kind of tough, honestly, especially for animation. In my experience, which is very limited, I've only been doing this for a couple of months, and like, doesn't seem like anyone wants to pay for anything in animation. Like, I'll name a price, and they're like, yeah, no, we were kind of hoping you do it for free. No, I'm not going to do it for free. I got stuff to do. I got like bills to pay. So I don't know. I don't know how to get good freelance work for animation. It's been like for video stuff and social media. I've been doing most of my freelancing. It's good to have varied skill sets. Not too varied that you're not good at one thing. Chaos Proxy, do I plan on reviewing, critiquing user submitted rules in the future? I mentioned that. I'd love to. Veronica asks, hello. Hey, Kenyatta student. Welcome. How's it going? Do you have Paul as a teacher? Hope he's doing well. If anyone wondering, Kenyatta College is a community college in Northern California where I went, where I started exploring 3D animation. It was great. Magic Mao, I have a question about animation. Do you animate each character separately, then put them all in one scene? If your computer can handle having multiple characters, like if there's like 2 people and they're supposed to be talking and interacting, you can have them both in the scene together. That's way better than like trying to do one, then do the other, and then combine them, especially if they're supposed to touch or talk to each other or look at each other. But if they're just like someone like walking through the background, it doesn't matter. You can do that separately and just put it in the background. But if it's interaction, do them together if you can. Oh, I see. You understand the yeah. When I do more kind of workflow videos, I think you'll get more of a idea of how that works. But yeah, you want them in the same scene so that you can have them interact. Xavier or Xavier, I'm not sure. Making your own models and unique animation for demo reels or the general stuff. Wait, making your own models and unique animation for demo reels or the general stuff. I'm not sure what you mean. I make models and animations just for general testing on my end, but I also do it for demo reels if I feel it's a good enough idea. Jackie Chan is here, and he asks, he wants to be a lighter on 3D animation. So what should he do? So what should you do if you want to be a lighter? If you want to be a lighter, download project files or make them yourself. But if you don't model and if you don't animate, then see if you can reach out to other people who have animated stuff, who are modeling things, who are surfacing and texturing. If you just want to do lighting, reach out to the people who have done the other things. These people make really great models and these people texture them really nicely, and they're just doing it for fun anyway. Ask if you can borrow their assets, give them credit, and then put them in your scene and then light them. And if you don't know how to put them in your scene, then get someone who can do layout and then animation and take all that and get all these people working together and then make sure that they're okay with you using their stuff. And then you put their credit to their stuff. and then light the stuff. And then when you put it on your lighting reel, just mention like, oh yeah, surfacing them by this person, modeling by this person. And then you can all actually, like if you submit a demo reel that you lit, but it's everyone else's stuff that you lit, then you're kind of promoting everybody. And then, they might get a call. He's like, okay, well, we like your lighting stuff. We also really like this modeling place. We're going to have this person get called by our modeling team, so collaboration. Tino, what should you do when you want to go into an animating career? Is it hard? You're taking grade 11 courses trying to pursue the career. I don't know how to answer that. I was going to say it's not hard, but it's challenging, but it can be hard. What should you do when you want to learn? Or you want to go into it? You should try it. You should start doing it. If you can do big stuff, awesome. But if you're just starting out and you can only do this much, then do that. And then just work your way up until eventually you're doing stuff that you enjoy. Just taste stuff. But just start doing stuff. If you want to see what I started off doing, it wasn't this. There's videos on my channel that are a little bit slower, but they show my work in high school and college and all the stuff I was doing before I knew this was what I wanted to do. So that could be helpful. Prem says, what's the difference between Animation Mentor, iAnimate, and Anim School? They are all just different animation schools. Animation Mentor, however, was the first. So Animation Mentor was the first online animation school and the one I went to. So I love it. But the other ones are good too. And I know a lot of people who have gone there and who teach there at the other schools as well. So no hate. I just haven't been there myself. Mikhail says, does the modeling team paint the model? I think I answered this question. The modeling team doesn't paint the model. Surfacing does that at DreamWorks, but that could vary at other studios. Hey, use it. What's up? Thank you for checking it out. Bagya? Oh, sorry, I'm trying not to butcher names. Can you make an in-depth tutorial on particles? I'll write it down. Particles in Maya or particles in After Effects? I know how to do it in After Effects, great. I do it a little bit in Maya, not much. Scottish Phoenix. Oh, do I prefer making characters in environment? I prefer making environment stuff because I'm terrible at making characters, but I prefer animating characters. Thunder Buddies. Go check it out. Thank you. I think we're in the Patreon area. Alex, if you're going to be taking questions that you can demonstrate in Maya or other programs later, I'm having trouble with panel and layout settings, if you can answer those. Let me write that down over here. If we have time to do demos, I'd love to do demos. If I have time to show you stuff in programs, I'd love to do it. So, panel and layout settings. And if I don't get to that, just leave a comment in one of the recent videos in like the parenting tutorial, and just leave a comment about like what it is you're having an issue with, and I'll see if I can get back to that just in there. Some retract messages. Okay, Febin, I'm from a low-class family, so how can I become an animator? Anybody can become an animator. If you have a piece of paper and a pencil, you can become an animator because you can draw. And like if you don't know how to draw, you don't have to know how to draw to be an animator. But if all you have is stick figures and a piece of paper and a pencil, you can still do flip books. And I started with flip books, and a lot of people started with flip books. So there's no reason why you can't do animation. It's just different kinds of animations, and you just have to get more creative. If you don't have as many opportunities and as many tools at your disposal, you just have to get more creative about how you go about learning. But you have a computer, it seems, and you have the internet, so you have a lot of learning materials at your disposal, and you have a piece of paper and a pencil, and hopefully you can download some form of software, even if it's just stick figure. Like I started with stick figure software in 2006 or 7, before internet was really what it is, So you can do it. It just might take a little bit more work, but if you want it, you can do it. Lamont, you're a recent grad from Minnesota, interested in becoming a character designer or 2D animator, been reaching out to employers but can't get a response. Suggestions? I read you guys a list here. I have a list of videos for getting jobs, to help you get jobs. Let me see if any of these will help. Because I don't have any good tips like off the top of my head. Like I have to see your resume, see your cover letter, that kind of stuff to know why maybe you're not getting callbacks. Or, maybe, you could email 100 companies and it would not be weird to hear from 3. It's a numbers game. Just keep applying, keep putting your stuff out there. Don't get discouraged. It's hard sometimes not to get discouraged, but like you just got to keep doing it. It's a very common thing in the industry. So don't sweat too much. Don't take it personally. Let me read you guys some of the video ideas about getting hired that I have on the list, such as networking and getting feedback on your work, applying to artist jobs from outside the US, and another one on outside California, demo reel advice, interview tips, application techniques to stand out, how to stand out during a networking event, resume help, demo real do's and don'ts, cover letters, what to wear, how to prepare for an interview to be an artist, following up after something, what are the best practices. Just a few things. Let me know if those are good. Drop in the comments if you like some of them, and I'll make some tally marks. Can I link the Patreon here? Yes. For anyone who's just joining or whatever, I'm dropping the link to the Patreon once again. The Patreon thing is if you want, read it really quick, extra access and extra tutorials and extra information about how to make the videos, project files for all the videos, voting on the videos, live Q&As that are recorded, live software lessons, demos, classes in Maya, in After Effects, and VR, and Photoshop. Get your stuff critiqued and reviewed, and so on. If that at all sounds interesting to you, patreon.com/SirWade. We're starting that. I've already put the first poll out there for this month's videos. So anyway, sorry, trying to get back up to where we are. Here we go. How much would it cost? Wait, how much would it cost for you to do what you did in your most popular video for someone? Oh, I think the question is, how much would it cost if someone wanted me to do the thing where I put a 3D character in the scene with them? I don't know. I'm not sure. If like companies and stuff are asking me, I'd give them a bigger number. But if like a person wanted it, then I'd probably do it for like, I don't know. It depends on how complicated. It's more of a time thing than anything. Like it takes me a couple of hours to do it, and depending on how you shot it and what you need and that kind of stuff, I don't know. Email me. Let's talk about it. Thunder Buddies, yes please. Trying to learn Maya. I tried to import a character, but it's way too big and I can't scale it down. Any idea what happened? Oh, I have a tip. I have a tip for Maya users if you're importing rigs, if you're bringing things from other files, which I started off doing as well, like when you download a rig and you bring it in. If you can help it, Maya tip, if you can help it, don't, I'm gonna write this down. Sorry, just give a quick note. Okay. If you're importing stuff into your Maya scene, and especially if it's big files, don't use import. Don't go to file import. Go to file reference or file create reference. I think it's Control R. What that's going to do is it's going to bring in the character as if you imported it, but it's actually going to, so say you have, I got you. This is file A. This is your Maya file. This is where you're currently working and you're doing all your stuff. Over here in file B, you have a chair, and it's a really small chair. You modeled a chair and you saved it as chair.maya or whatever. And over here you have a really big file. It's this crazy helicopter scorpion rig you downloaded, which I know there is one, so maybe that's what you have. But you have this really big file. If you import both of these, what happens is in file A, it also contains B and C. All three are in the one file. If you reference instead of importing, what it does is file A still only has file A. It just brings these in every time as like things you can manipulate. Like it seems like it brought it in. We do a little dotted line. It seems like they're in there, but they're not actually in there. Like they're not actually making your file any bigger. So it doesn't have as much of a load on your machine when you open and save that file. It only saves like the animation data that you apply on to those things, if that makes any sense. So if you're importing, if you're bringing in really big assets, don't import, reference, create references instead. You can also make changes to the rigs in the original files, and it'll reflect into that, into the shot. Anyway, your actual question though was, try to import something that's way too big and you can't scale it down. I don't know. The scale of your project might be different. You can check the settings in your Maya file about like, are you using centimeters or meters or whatever? If you change that, it'll change the way it interprets that file. So if you think you have like a fairly big space, and then you import something and it's giant, you either need to scale it down or for some reason it's not letting you and you can't find it in the outliner, then maybe change your world to, instead of interpreting in meters, which is the default, change it to like something bigger. Or if you're in centimeters, change it to meters, something like that. Python. Python's a good skill if you want to do some stuff. Are there any must-have plugins for animation in Maya? One plugin that I would totally recommend you get immediately if you don't already have it is Tween Machine. Tween machine. Tween machine, like in between machine. It's a thing that if you have a key here and a key here, it's a slider that says like if you have a key somewhere in the middle and you just like set a key, like this is frame 1 and this is frame 5. 1 and 10. If you have from 1 and 10, and then on like, oh, frame 7, you make a key. By default, that's 70% of the interpolation between 1 and 10. But if you want to favor, like, I actually want it to be as if it were keyed at, this is a terrible explanation. Go download Tween Machine and play with it. You'll see there's demonstrations on the page. If you Google it, Tween Machine, that's the plugin you should have. It's a super good workflow thing. Between Animation Mentor and Anim School, can you talk about the one I did and why you chose it? I chose Animation Mentor for a lot of reasons, and I highly recommend it. I don't want to get a whole bunch of time spent on talking about why one or the other. I don't know much about Anim School, so I'm not bashing them. Got nothing against them. I just love Animation Mentor, and it worked for me, and all my friends and everyone I know who did it has loved it. So I recommend Animation Mentor based on personal experience. But that's as far as I really want to go into it. I have a video on my Animation Mentor experience if you want to see more about what it was like for me, though. But a good tip would be reach out to the people who did those schools and then see what they think. Lauren Wilson, any tips on making an animation look less uniform? Any tips on how to improve contrast and timing? Yes, let me write both of those down so I don't forget them. Uniformity and contrast and timing. A good thing to do would be like one just like quick thing. I don't know, like if you're setting keys on like a lot of stuff as you go, like pose to pose to pose to pose, it's easy for everything to kind of like go and go and go and go. And like it all feels very mechanical, that like the things like this key, then this key, then this key, then this key, and it all kind of just moves between like 4 main poses and you can see where they are. If you take like if the body does that, then make the arms do it like if it's like frames 1, 10, 20, 30, and 40 as an example, and everything's keyed on those frames, leave the body on those ones, and then take the arms and make them like 11 and 23, and like, you know, like offset the arms and then offset the other arms and offset the legs so that things aren't just on those main keys, but they're kind of scattered. And then you should get a little bit more like organic versus like this and this and this. It should be a little bit more, you know, things still do the same thing, just at different times versus like hand, head, and like this translation versus, does that make sense? I'm trying to like simulate, you get the idea. More of a wave action. Offset the keys. Hopefully that helps. Thank you, AJ. Noelia, is that how I say it? Taking Animation Mentor later this month. First class, hoping to do 3D animation along with 2D animation. So doing the same thing. If you're trying to submit your work in 3D and 2D, I would focus on the 3D, since that's kind of what the class is based on. Or ask your mentor. Actually, the first answer is ask your mentor. You can do one or the other, but if you have the time to dedicate to it and you're like hungry enough to do it, then it's possible. But as you get into later classes, that's going to get really hard. My recommendation, if you want to, like if you're taking Animation Mentor, which is a 3D program, and you want to do 2D, you will learn everything you need to learn in 3D, and you can apply all of that to 2D. It's a bit of a learning curve to like switch it, but I would recommend making the most of your time by doing everything in 3D and then take that all and apply it to 2D later or something like that. Or maybe like, I don't know, talk to your mentor about the best way to do it, but that's kind of how I would recommend it. Don't try to like, what's like the Ron, I don't watch Parks and Rec, but what's the Ron Burgundy quote? Don't half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing. So focus on what's going to work the best to help you learn, and then go back and use that knowledge later. That's how I would recommend it, but talk to your mentor. How did I first get into animation and editing? I have that in older videos. So you can check that out there. But I just started playing with it. There was no like real desire to do it professionally. Desiree, okay, I did spell it right. You're welcome. Thank you for letting me know if I did that right. No, yeah. Again, I know you sent this earlier, and I'm just now seeing the comment, but hold on, let me turn on timestamps. I should be able to. How far back am I? 9:40. Oh my gosh, I'm half an hour behind in these comments. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna try and blaze through to get more more current. Let's see. Thanks for sending anything. Dynamic rig or normal rig, which you prefer more for doing animation? Oh, sorry, I still don't know what a dynamic rig or a normal rig is. If I knew more, like if I had played with both and knew which one was which, I would tell you, but I don't actually know the difference between a dynamic and a normal rig. Sorry. You also want to work at DreamWorks? You can do it. Alex, thanks for answering. Appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, where did I? Oh, the statue of Toothless, which I love my Toothless statue. I'm going to show it to you guys because he's awesome. Da, 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 da. Toothless. There. So this is from Sideshow Collectibles. It's that company that makes, I mean, they make these of tons of characters, and they're really, really well made. They're really nice. They didn't like give this to me for free, and they're not sponsoring, like nothing like that. Like I paid for this. I bought this. When they made this, someone from DreamWorks actually reached out and asked them if we could get a discount, and so they gave us a small discount. So tons of us bought them. But yeah, that's Toothless. It wasn't super cheap, but it was worth it. I need good stuff for my desk. Yeah, so you could get one on the sideshow.com website. Prashan, you were my first patron. I said, oh, you were here last time. Thank you. And thank you for becoming a patron. I haven't actually gotten a notification, which is weird. I should be getting notifications for that. Let me refresh the page over here. So thank you. Hey, you are my one and only patron. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. And I hope I can make it worth it for you. What scholarship am I talking about getting into DreamWorks? I don't know. Scholarship. Internships are good. Internships are great. We hired a lot of our interns into different parts of the company. So internships are a fantastic way to get into the industry if you're eligible. What does your portfolio have to consist of to become a 3D modeler? It needs to consist of good models. I don't know many details, but I would do like 3D turnarounds. Not too slow that it's boring, not too fast that you can't see, but 3D turnarounds of your things you model. It'd be good to show like the finished product. It'd be good to show the wireframe to see kind of the geometry. I think that's probably it. I don't know. That's the best I've got. I'm not sure. Some character stuff, some environment stuff, organic, inorganic, ZBrush if you do sculpting, Maya or whatever other program if you do vertices. So I don't know. Variation's good. Andrew Loomis for anatomy. There we go. Thank you guys for answering other questions because I don't know the answers. Jordan, is there a bigger market for character design and sculpting or animation? Both. There's a huge market for both. Character design and sculpting is huge, and it's needed for tons of different industries besides just film, TV, and games. Same goes for animation. I mean, medical fields and sports teams. Like someone needs to make the NFL helmet. It's going to crash and break another helmet, and like the big robot that comes out. And then people need like game assets and like mobile games. I mean, there's so much stuff in all these industries. So there's a huge market for both. Don't worry about one or the other. Do what you enjoy more. Ryan says, you've done animation for TV commercials and those wondering if it's still decently fun and great. Wait. Oh, Ryan says, I've done animation for TV commercials, and for those wondering, it is still decently fun and a great way to get valuable studio experience. Very true. Spit and truth, my man. Thank you. Yeah, TV commercials are a great experience, and you can learn a lot. Danny Delgado, do you have any good advice for coming up with dynamic body mechanics ideas for a physicality assignment? I do. If anyone is working on a physicality shot, a body mechanic shot, if you're in the class of Animation Mentor or another school, this video that I made didn't get a lot of views. It's one of my earlier ones, so it's a little bit slower, but the content is good, and I want to remake it. But I have a video. It's on my main channel page somewhere towards the bottom. It's like 9 tips for body mechanics video reference, which doesn't talk about the ideas as much as it does like getting what you need planned for the shot. I highly recommend watching that video. It didn't get very much attention. I'll remake it because it obviously wasn't good enough, but it has good content. So if you are doing body mechanics stuff, video reference is huge, and you should check that video out. But your question was, do I have good advice for coming up with dynamic body mechanics ideas for physicality assignment? I'm going to make a note of that. Dynamic body mechanic shots. Do something. Okay. If I had to give a tip on body mechanic shots, it would be make sure that there is a change from the beginning of the shot to the end of the shot. Something has to happen. Something needs to change. Doesn't need to be like a comedic punchline, but that counts. Doesn't need to be like a dramatic or sad moment, but like some kind of either emotion change or power shift. Someone who's like, you guys have seen a lot of demo reels, or you've seen a lot of shots, I'm sure. But an example of like what you would probably have seen in a lot of demo reels would be like someone who's very powerful and they're very confident, and then they see like a mouse and they freak out and they jump on the table and they're cowering. Like they went from big to terrified. Alyssa, I'm recording. My sister, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I'm live. Be on with you. Let's see. She's visiting from college. What was the thing? Yeah. So big to like scared and strong. Like that's an emotion and a power shift. Versus like, I don't know, someone who's standing up to someone who's falling, like laying on the ground. Like something changing so that like the shot doesn't happen. Like that's not much of a shift. That was a terrible example, but you get the idea. Shifting. Change. What else we got? Sorry, I'm trying to get back to where I was. So the dragon should flap at the peak of his jump. Oh, that's from way far long ago. Sorry. Yeah, I'm way behind these comments. Yes, the dragon should flap once he's already left the ground and is starting to lose a little bit of that upward momentum so that the wings can continue the upward momentum versus trying to like just start the thing with just the wings from the ground, because that's a lot more work than jumping first and then carrying off. Lame showman, is that me for the poor dragon example? How to get in DreamWorks as an intern? Have a good resume. Ooh, I have a tip. Okay, we've got about 80 people in here. I'm gonna give you guys a huge like insight into the hiring world. All right, there are two things I want to tell you, and I want this to go in a video. But for you guys, a huge thing I learned about how people hire interns and hire people in the industry in general. Two things. One is that you can, if someone wants to hire someone who's good at something, they hope that they have the skills and that they have the competence to do the job, obviously. But what's more important than being the best of the best at whatever that thing is that you're nice to work with and that you're fun to be around and like people want to be around you. That is more important, because you can teach someone the skills and the software and the tools, but you can't teach them to be a better person. So it's more important to be fun to work with and capable than it is to be the best, but a jerk. You obviously still need to be able to have the talent and do the work, but you need to be a good person, because no one wants to work with someone who's great and terrible, great at what they do and terrible as a person. So that's thing number one. It's better to be nice than to be the best. The second thing, and this is the big one, is I have seen conversations with people looking at resumes and deciding like, oh, which intern should we hire? Which person should we bring in for an interview? Like they're trying to make that decision. Like both look good, both have similar experience and whatever. They actually decide based on, well, this person worked at Starbucks for 3 years and this person worked at, like they looked and said, this person has some time of customer service experience. This is the one we want. They will make the choice based on customers. I've even seen people where it's not even just between two, but where it's like, oh, we have like 5 resumes and they all seem okay. Well, this one, and this one, they've never done customer service. This guy's done it for like 3 months, but these two haven't done a customer service job. Throw those out, which is really crazy. But sometimes they just won't hire people who don't. I mean, this isn't like a rule or anything. And it's, obviously it's up to whoever's in charge of the resume. But I have seen it happen where people don't hire people or don't bring people in or don't want to bring people in who don't have customer service backgrounds. Because to have worked at a Starbucks or to have worked in retail or in food or in an industry where you're usually dealing with people at their worst and in high pressure situations and talking to people and trying to make sure that you are amicable and you are handling the situation well, if someone has done that for a while, they have gained a lot of skills that are necessary to work in a fast-paced, high-pressure environment that sometimes gets a little crazy. That's a huge selling point. So if you haven't done a customer service job, you should get a customer service job, if only for like a year, just to have it on your resume. Sounds like a long time for some of you, I'm sure, but it flies by and then you make a bunch of money. So it's not a bad thing. So if you're in high school, if you're in college, if you're just leaving either of those sections and you haven't had a real job or you haven't had a customer service job, I would recommend getting one. I worked at In-N-Out for a little bit, which is a store in the west coast of California in the US. I've worked at Best Buy. That's a good one. Just get discounts. But yeah, and then I know people who've worked at Starbucks and like all over the place, Jamba Juice. But yeah, that's a huge thing. You should have customer service experience. That will for sure help you get an internship compared to someone who doesn't have that. Depending on the studio, it's a big thing. Do I still do parkour? Not as much as I'd like to, but I can. So Sarah asks, Salty Springs or Retail Row? I don't know. I don't understand. The Night Fury fan. Hi again. New questions. You're an effects animation major. I'm wondering how significant coding is for your area. Is it helpful to learn? Do effects artists do a lot of coding? Thank you. She's awesome. Yes, if you're doing effects artists, like if you're going to be in Houdini and other simulation packages, you don't have to know coding, but a lot of studios will want you to do coding. And if you can do coding, it's a huge selling point on yourself to get hired that much quicker and more easily, and with a higher paying job. Like if you can code as an effects artist or as a character TD or something like that, well, it's a TD, yeah. Effects artist, yes, coding is a great skill to have. It's not totally required, but it's highly recommended. Depending on the studio, you could do a lot of it. Mariana, hi. And H7 Opolo. Hello. Oh, you guys are greeting each other. Cool. Megapixel, I am one of your, okay, so Megapixel, I'm one of your few girl animator followers, and I'm blown away by the help of guys in forums. Good. That makes me happy. We need more female animators. It just is a fact. We don't have enough. So keep going. And for any ladies watching, I have a video interview with some Sony Pictures Animation junior animators. I had to get all the words right. Four animators, and I think 3 of them are fellow ladies, and they have some great insights on the industry. So that's coming soon. Thank you for watching. Artie Rex, the animation mentor courses are out of your budget. Please help. What should I do? There's plenty of online learning. I already mentioned that I'm doing my teaching stuff. So if you are interested, by the way, I brought this up. I hope I'm not boring anybody with this. I'm posting a comment in the bottom. I'll do it quick. I started a Patreon page where I'm doing a bunch of classes and teaching you guys stuff directly through Patreon. It is a paid platform. You can ignore it. You don't have to worry about it. YouTube will continue as normal. But you have a lot of extra cool stuff on Patreon. And the idea is there is not to I don't know, take from anybody. The idea is that it's an exchange. If you don't have the budget to go to an animation mentor or to go to an online animation school or to sign up for an Omen class, if you don't have budget to sign up for big class workshops and packages, the idea is that you could sign up for my thing for hopefully less money, and I could teach you just as much. So that was the idea. So if you were interested in any of that or you want to know what I'm talking about, you can click the link Patreon at the bottom of the comments. I just put it there. Others like you here use Blender. Okay, yeah. So there's a ton of people who haven't used Maya. They use Blender. Totally cool. All my stuff's based on Maya, and it is free, so you can download it if you'd like it. Student version of Maya, free. Responde preguntas en Spanish. En español, no? I know a little bit of Spanish, but it's been a while, and I'm also super white, so my accent's probably not as good as it could be. But hablo un poquito de español. That's all you're going to get. Wow, there's a lot of responses in Spanish all of a sudden. Thunderbuddy's like, please communicate in English. Sorry, I got to skip all the Spanish ones because I don't. Okay, everyone's asking if there's people who speak Spanish here. That kind of, okay. I'm going to move past those because I can't read them very fast. Okay. Geez, I'm still half an hour behind in the comments. Shoot. Okay, I'm going to try and go fast again. I said that last time and I failed. We're going to try again. Beatrice asks, hi, Brett. When it comes to the 3 years license, is Maya still free if you're studying by yourself? Yes, you don't have to necessarily be in an institution. Autodesk doesn't check, so you can just tell them you are. Are you job in another place? Is that for me? I'm in Minnesota right now. Brad Chambers, what about tips on flight animation and landing? Show weight. That's a terrible first. I got to go through these quicker, but I want a video on flight animation. I want to get someone to actually really talk about it, flight animation, but I can't do much just talking here on camera now. But landing. Oh, one thing would be if a dragon's flying, they need to slow themselves and then land, if that's helpful. So there's a lot of back flapping to slow. Frigoso says, if I have no Maya experience, should I use the workshop before joining class at 1? I didn't. Some have. I don't know. But depends on how well how you feel you'll be able to learn it on the fly. I don't want to answer that for you because I'm not sure how you learn. Wow, there's a lot of comments I can't read. How do I light up my animation properly in Maya? I have a video on a lighting overview. If you're interested in lighting in Maya, I have an overview video on that you can check out. I do want to do an in-depth tutorial, though, on it, so that's coming. Are you working in other projects different from your actual company? I left DreamWorks a couple months ago, so I'm no longer working at one specific company. So I do a lot of projects for different companies and different people and just for myself. Why did I leave DreamWorks? I made a video about it called Why I Left DreamWorks. You gotta watch that one. Take me too long to explain. It's a good video, I promise, it's good. One of my favorites. Omar says, I'm interested in animation, but don't know where to begin. Where should I start? What software? If you want to try 3D, I say Maya. There's lots of others. I say Maya. If you want to try 2D, Toon Boom is a good one. I've talked to them, their company, and they seem great, and I've liked their stuff. So that's where I'm going to stop with that answer for now, but we'll get back to that at some point, I'm sure. Which is better, Maya or Blender? Both are good. Maya's used at more studios, though, is my only thing, but both are good. Oh, cool, Veronica. Yes, Paul is awesome. Also, a common experience from people in creative work is to be on the roller coaster of I'm great to, oh no, I know. Oh, okay, hold on. A common experience in people in creative work is to be on the roller coaster of I'm great to, oh no, I don't know anything, I'm horrible. And how do I personally work on enjoying the ride? That's a great question. It is very true. I know a ton of people who are like, yeah, I'm great. And then they're like the next day, like, oh man, I suck. When you compare yourself to other artists, you will always look to someone better. Generally, you always look to like something that impresses you and like, whoa, I'm terrible. Because that's our nature to like look at, we want to see stuff that's better. We want to improve. And so we look at other people's stuff and go, oh man, that's great. And then we feel kind of terrible. Very normal. You just have to remember, like, it's great to look at people's stuff and be inspired, but don't feel like discouraged, because you have to look at your old stuff and say, well, I hope I got better. So if you can look at your old stuff and be like, I've improved, then you're on the right track. Because those people who are, miles ahead, they started at nothing also. Even if they were like born with talent, they still at one point didn't have any experience and didn't, like everyone starts from zero. Everybody. So it doesn't matter if you're 10 or if you're 15, if you're 20, if you're 30, if you're 50, it doesn't matter what age you are. Everyone starts from zero at some point. Everyone grows at different rates, but you can grow and you can get better and you can improve. And it's just a matter of continuing to do it. Surround yourself with other talented people who are also passionate, feed off their creativity, contribute your own, and just grow together. That's the best way to do it. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And sometimes just embrace, like if you're not good at something, just embrace it. And just like, and also make the distinction of like, if you're not good at something, maybe you should get better at it. But if you're not good at something, but you're better at something else, maybe just do the thing you're better at. It just depends on you, what makes you happy. And I meant that in terms of like departments. Like I'm not as good as animation, but I'm better at modeling, and I enjoy modeling. Maybe try modeling. So there's tons of stuff to do. Sorry, trying to go through comments. Oh, it jumped. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, here we go. Salty Springs is good, but go retail row if you want more. I don't know what this is. Character acting shots and creature shots should be in the same reel or different. Same reel. Usually, if you can do character shots and you can do creature shots, then show that you can do both. I don't see a reason why you shouldn't show one or the other. It's one thing to have like super cartoony noodle arms and then have really realistic, facial cinematic stuff. You can have a reel with both of those as well. But if you're applying to Pixar, they don't have noodle arm characters. They have, well, Inside Out was kind of cartoony. There's an argument to be made there. But you should have more realistic stuff to apply to somewhere like Pixar than at Blue Sky, where they have a lot of noodle arm and wacky cartoony stuff. They might not want to see as much realistic stuff, but both studios would love to see creature work and would love to see character work and body mechanics work and acting. So the type of shot, you should have a lot of variation, but also just remember who you're applying to and what they do a lot of, and just show like, yeah, I can do your style. I can do a little extra stuff, but I can do your style. That should be your thoughts. I work in cartoons. I feel like most productions are 75% ladies. That's awesome. That's super awesome. Just depends. Which awesome. Which animation school should I join? Up to you. I went to Animation Mentor and I loved it. Christian King. I really become a patron. Yeah, now I understand. If anyone's considering being a patron but you're broke, totally get it. You don't have to do it. I will make the argument that I have one thing that is less than a cup of coffee a month. So if you want it, I recommend it, but I will not harp on it. But yeah, totally get it. Some people just can't afford it. Yes, the new How to Train Your Dragon 3 poster was released. And I think the trailer comes out this next week. There's gonna be a lot. I had the fun realization that a lot of people are gonna be able to make like YouTube like reacting to the Dragons 3 trailer, and like those are gonna blow up on YouTube. I can't make any of those kinds of videos because I know what happens in the movie. I've seen a screening. Like obviously it's changed since I've seen it, but like I can't make any comments on anything in the trailer because I'll know too much about it, and it would just be weird. So just fun little thing. But yeah, the trailer's coming out soon. Yanni or Laurel? I didn't even listen to it. I didn't care. Do all parts of the body have different spacing and animation? Usually, yeah, depends, unless it's a robot. But yeah, organicness is different parts of the body being timed differently. Abigail says, what about people in the industry that are from outside the US and Canada? Could you probably contact someone to know how they got there? What about people in there? You mean like if you live outside of the US or Canada, but you want to work there, you can totally reach out to people who have also done what you want to do, and you can ask them how they did it. That's totally, yes, you should do that. If that's what you're asking, hope that's true. Have I heard of Skills Ontario? I have not. What do you recommend for texturing in Maya? I've only been taught RenderMan in my school. RenderMan's good. I've never used it. I use Arnold now that it's built into Maya. I've used the stuff before that, but yeah, RenderMan is good. Arnold is good. Everything's good. Everything's good. Things are just either easier or harder or have better or worse results, but everything is still good. Experience is experience. As Loki said in Infinity War. I call experience experience. I want to become an animator, however, I can't draw good and can't get... if you want to be an animator, but you can't draw, don't lose hope because you don't need to be able to draw to do animation. If you want to do 2D animation, then yes, you need to draw. Or get like 2D rigs. Then you don't have to draw at all. But 3D, yeah, you don't have to draw. It's a good skill to have, but if you don't have it, it doesn't matter. To get in Sheridan, you may need a portfolio. And if you don't have one, then choose a different school. I know it's like a weird answer, but it's not the only animation school out there. And I know it's rated the best on the things, but there are plenty of animation schools that are just as effective, if not more, depending on, you know, who you are, where you are, your workflow, how much you're going to put into it. Don't stress, don't sweat it. Pick another school. Do what you can do. You can only do what you can do, but you can do a lot. Are you able to say what projects I am working on? Am I able to? Yeah, I'm not working at DreamWorks anymore, so I can talk about anything I want for the most part, except for the stuff that I did at DreamWorks. I worked on How to Train Your Dragon 3 a little bit, but nothing of note really. For now, I am working on some augmented reality stuff for a company. I'm working on some training material and music videos for another. I'm working on a Doctor Strange effect, some Marvel stuff. Nothing official with Marvel. That'd be nice. That'd be great, but just for me, for fun. Yeah, I don't know. On the topic of Animation Mentor, Maya Workshop, I did take the workshop, and while it was useful, you can learn so much as you go. If you're adept at picking up new programs, it's not necessary. I agree with that. If you're good at learning software, if you're a fast learner, you don't have to take that to do Animation Mentor first. It's not a prerequisite. I agree with that. Ava Droops, how can I share my work with me for suggestions? If I have time, feel free to DM me or message me or email. Don't email me, actually. DM me or something with it. If I can get to it, I will. I will be actually... Oh, I don't know if I mentioned that if people want to be doing... get their work critiqued, I'm going to be doing the stuff on Patreon. Part of like the classes and the demos is actually to take people's work in groups. Like if like 20 people all submit their work on Patreon and their patrons and all that stuff, I'll take everybody's work and we'll all get in a big like Q&A session and we'll just critique. Like I'll just go through all the different shots with everybody and we can all learn from it. I'll do drawovers and stuff. So that's happening on Patreon if you're interested. I'll link one more time. Oh, I jumped again. Sorry, the comments keep flying away. Oh, we're almost to the bottom, I think. Let's see. Yes. Apparently super useful having your CV. Wait, I missed one. I think I missed a question. Oh, we're talking about customer service stuff. Yeah, no. People are crazy sometimes. Okay, what software should you learn first? Doesn't matter. Whatever you can learn first to start working. That's the answer. Just start going. Software doesn't matter. Any tips for someone doing their first animation test for a job application? Ooh, good luck. Plan. My biggest thing would be like spend time planning before you start, because if you get like halfway in and then you need to make a change or you mess up or you change your mind, like then it's like a lot of wasted time to like figure out like what do I delete, what do I change, what do I keep. Plan ahead of time so that it's smooth sailing as much as possible. A lot of planning, and then block out your time well, and just don't kill yourself over it, but work hard. Can thinking out of the box result in recruitment at animation studios? Yeah, I mean, thinking out of the box without the skill is not as good as thinking in the box with, well, I don't want to say that. Yes, thinking out of the box is super good. If you can show like great ideas and you can show that you are on the path to execute them decently well, even if it's not perfect, that's okay. If people can see like, wow, these are great ideas, and like he's learning, he or she is getting there. Maybe not there yet, but getting there. Maybe they'll give you a shot. Maybe you'll get an internship. Totally. Ideas are great. Not the only thing, but they are extremely important. Do I play video games? Yes. If I do, what am I currently playing and what are all my all-time favorites? At this very moment, I'm not playing much because I'm just trying to make videos and do this stuff. I haven't had a lot of time to play games, which is sad, and it feels like an old person thing to say. But Zelda Breath of the Wild was the game I was playing most recently before I didn't have time to play. Not like I've been playing it since forever. I've been playing it nonstop since it came out, even now. Mario Odyssey has been a lot of fun. I'm hyped on Fallout, though. I'm hyped on the new 76, whatever this is happening in a couple days. We'll find out in like a week. But I want to play New Vegas, and I want to play Fallout 4 some more, just because some all-time favorites are Fallout, Zelda, Mario games, Super Smash Bros., obviously, the new one. I'm so mad I'm not going to be at E3 this year. And there every year for the last like 3 or 4 years. This year I didn't get a pass. Mistake. Next year. Black Pearls, or anything you should specifically study? I want to be a storyboarder. A cool exercise I heard for people who want to do storyboard is to like take your favorite movies and then like storyboard the movie. I've even had people go like, I've heard of people going as deep as like they'll draw the first frame and the last frame of every shot, which is to show like camera motion and stuff. That's for layout. Or they'll kind of just block out the beats of the movie just as they're watching it. They'll kind of draw like main important story points very quickly. If you want to be a storyboarder, the best thing to do is just draw a lot. Study like how to simplify anatomy and how to draw characters and figures and angles and dresses and clothes, and to draw forms and shapes quickly. And don't get attached to any one drawing, because if it's cut from the movie, you got to move on and draw the next one. Cat Dog asks, have I done any stop motion animation? Not really. Not really. Maybe when I was little, kind of, but nothing I would really call stop motion. I'm not that talented. Technometry and DreamWorks, Maya is used. Yeah, Maya is used, not for the animation department. They have their own software called Primo, and it's proprietary. They built it in-house. They are the only ones who have it. It's amazing. I miss it very much. But yeah, they use Maya for a lot of other stuff. Canvas Proxy, when did I feel that I was a higher level on animation? So the answer of when did I feel that I was at a hireable level in animation, and how did I overcome the insecurity in my work? To answer you quite honestly, the question of whether I'm at a hireable level, I believe that I am, but I have also not been hired as an animator at DreamWorks or Disney or any studio. I've not been hired as an animator anywhere. I think, personally, that I could get hired at a lot of places to do animation as an animator. And I think that I think I'm getting to the level, if I'm not already, I think I'm at junior animator level somewhere like DreamWorks. But I can't say for sure because I haven't been hired. But I personally feel that my work is about there. I just have to do some more shots to prove that. I have some shots that I was working on that had a lot of promise, but I need more. So I don't know if I can, that's the honest answer, the fully honest answer. And how do I overcome insecurity in my work? My biggest insecurity when I'm animating comes from the fear of the shot not being as good as I want it to be or how I envision it. That's my issue. I see in my head what I know I want the shot to be. I have an idea of how I'm going to get there. Once I start to kind of put it in the computer, I start to get a little bit nervous because it's usually not as good as it's in my head right up front. And I go for a while and it's like, oh, it's getting closer. It's like, oh, it's getting farther. Oh, it's getting really good. Oh, it's really bad. I go through those motions. And throughout that, I get more discouraged to like finish it. Like, oh man, if I finish it and it sucks, then I did a bad animation. Maybe I should just stop now, which is stupid. That's a terrible thing that I do, but that's one of the thoughts that goes through my head. But the thing is, like, just push through it, get done with it. And usually it's pretty, it's decent. So, what was the question? Like, how to deal with the insecurity of it? How do I overcome it? It's really like, you have to get very logical and very unemotional about it to be like, look, like, I'm either going to finish this animation or I'm not. I'm either going to play video games right now or I'm going to work. And one of those paths leads to me becoming an animator and leads to me, having a good reel and like down the road, even if it's not the shot, like the next shot, like one of the paths is to work hard and get to that point. And one of those paths is to not. And so it really comes down to like, what do I want? Well, I want to get there. So I got to put in the work, even if I like don't feel it right now. If I don't feel it right now, like maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Like, just do it. Just do it for a little bit, even if it's just like a small amount. Just do it for a bit. Just gotta push through. Self-discipline. It's hard, but it's necessary. So Voldemort is here. Tom Marvel a riddle says, "How do you remember? Know many frames a second. Wait. How do you remember or know how many frames a movement needs? Because I always need to go back to my book to search how many frames it needs. I don't know any motions of how many frames they need. I'm not as good at timing to be able to say like, oh, that should be about 4 frames. That should be, it should be 7 frames. No idea. I have a lot more. I usually know like, that's too slow. I'm just going to take out 3 frames because that feels right. And it's not because I know how many frames in my head. It's more just like, okay, well, there's 10 frames and it feels slow. I don't want it to go twice as fast, but it needs to go almost twice as fast. So maybe I'll pull out 3 frames. Like, it's kind of more of just a comparative thing for me to say, like, if I notice something is off timing-wise, I can just say, well, it needs to go faster or slower. Is it double? Is it half? Is it like a quarter faster or slower? And then usually kind of by that comparison of time, I'll just say, well, 2 or 3 frames. Let's just try that. I've never checked a book. I've never checked anything to see how many frames something needs. I've tested it out, which doesn't necessarily mean that's the way to do it. Like if that's how you do it, that's cool too. Different workflows. You can go into video game animation after doing a film animation degree course, right? Wait, so the question is, can you go into video game animation after doing a film animation degree course? If you're ready to do game animation, it's not that like, if you study for film and you shoot for the stars, you'll land on the moon in a new game. Like, it's not like this tier system. Like, generally, yeah, feature film is like the top, most highest quality thing. And then game and TV are, depending on their schedules, might not be quite as high of a standard. It depends, but then game cinematics are also just as, hard, if not harder than feature. So it depends on the studio. It's very overgeneralized to go that way. But no, it really depends on you and your work. Like, you could do a film animation course and some people get a job right out of there because they worked really hard and really focused and they got really good. And other people go through it and they don't put as much into it. And so they come out the other end not as good because they didn't really, put the passion in. So both of those people are going to have very different results. One person might get out and not be ready for a job at all. And they need to keep working. One person might be given tons of offers. It just depends on you, not as much the course. You got to put in the work. Will I be doing any Arnold tutorials, or do I know where I do? I will be doing Arnold tutorials. It's on my list to do the surfacing, the texturing, and the rendering and the lighting and all that. I hear Redshift is a really good renderer. It's a lot quicker than most. Very confusing to use. I've heard of Redshift. I've also heard of Octane. I don't know very much of either of them, but I've heard of them. Any advice or tips in improving cartoony animation? Planning and I don't know, improving cartoony animation. Silhouette and planning, I guess. Like, plan it really effectively. Shoot a reference you can. Do drawovers. Drawovers will be good, even if you're like in the process, like draw, and improve the shapes and the poses, and make sure the silhouettes are good. Would be my tips. E-Man. Sorry for no worries. If I missed it, I missed it. How do you model obscure / unique shapes in Maya? Wait, how do you model obscure / obscure / okay. How do you model obscure or unique shapes in Maya? I struggle with that sometimes too. It depends. Like, if you can do sculpting, sometimes that's a way around it. But if you're in Maya trying to model obscure stuff, again, it's planning. It's like big, broad shapes. Like, if it's like, oh, it's this complex thing, start with like, what are the general shapes? And how can you kind of block that in and then go from there? And then knowing someone like shortcut tools of like different like tools, like, oh, it's going to be easier to like put an edge loop in here or have this cut in half. Like tool proficiency is helpful. Planning is a bigger help. Hopefully that's helpful. I know someone commented on the, I know if you're checking out the Patreon thing, I know that like some of the rewards tiers, like it starts to like again, if anyone's not interested in that, like don't worry about it. But yeah, like if you are going for like easy access, like yeah, $3 a month, $6 a month, like yeah, there's some, or 9 or 3 or 9 or whatever. Like, yeah, there's some stuff that's like not too bad. Then there's ones that are ridiculous at the bottom. They're like $500 a month, $1,000. I don't expect anybody to do those. That's if like somebody showed up or some company showed up who like for some reason wanted that, then like cool. I'm not going to say no, but I'm not expecting that from anybody, which is why all the main benefits are towards the earlier ones. Anyway, yeah, someone mentioned the $9.99. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't expect that from anybody. Believe me. Okay, please tell how to avoid gimbal lock in animation. I'm going to do a video on that, but my tip for now on how to avoid gimbal lock is if you're animating an arm, don't just grab the manipulator and just, go wherever. So like if I'm here and I want to go up there, don't just go grab the orb and like, this way. What I recommend is to go each individual axes, go down, forward, twist, more this way, more that. I do it in pieces instead of just like, oh, everything at once, which gets easier to confuse the orb. But to go like the X, then the X, the X, then the Z, then the Y, do it axis by axis, and it makes it a lot easier usually. Or if you're coming from here and you're doing a very different pose on the next frame, what I'll do is I'll take like frame 1, and then by frame 10 I need to be over here. So what I'll do is I'll go to frame 1, and then I'll go to frame 10, and instead of trying to go all the way back here, I'll just zero out the arm again, back to 0, and then I'll just repose it. Because it's a lot easier to go from 0 and go to this one, and then separately go to this one, than it is to like go here and then try to work that into that. If you know what I mean. It's easier for the system to figure it out too. 3ds Max 2018 has Arnold. Yes, most of Autodesk products have Arnold now. 2018, 2017 as well. JC, how should I fit a portfolio for some company? Put your best stuff. If it's questionable, if it's not your best, if you feel like you'd have to explain, like, oh, what I meant to do here, take it off. A lot of reels, a lot of things people say is your reel is only as good as the worst thing on it, which I don't know if that's totally true, but that's what I've heard a lot of. So take anything on your reel that's questionable quality, that's not your best, take it off. It's better to have a shorter, better reel than a longer, not as good reel or portfolio. How can I self-learn Maya completely? I don't know. Honestly, if you were self-learning Maya completely, it would take you much longer than it's worth. You should find someone to help you learn it. I was all about self-learning it, but then I got taught it, and I was like, holy crap, I never would have learned this on my own. So much easier to be taught. Not asking anything specific, but what did you think of what you saw the Dragon Sea screening? And on a related note, if I'm coming from overseas, how... If you're coming from overseas, how would potential employees see that? Like employers? Well, okay, so two-part question. If you're applying to a job, usually it asks you if you are a U.S. citizen, if you have a visa requirement. Like if they need to know, they'll ask. But what did I think when I saw the Dragon Sea screening? I thought that this is going to be an awesome movie. Lauren Wilson. Yeah. Maya uses Arnold. Oh, yeah. Most people just play blast instead of render. And I have some really cool playblasting tips that help you like get rid of that gross edge and anti-aliasing and yeah, playblasting is totally fine. You can do a lot. You can even do shadows in the playblast in the viewport. You don't even need to have lights or render to get shadows. Lamont says, got some rig files. When I import them, they don't have a skin on them. They have skin textures. Maybe. I might make a video on skins and textures. I'll make a note of it. Objects. I'm assuming that you mean that you import a model or a rig that's supposed to have a skin or a texture, but it's just gray and you don't see the colors and the textures. I'm assuming that's what you mean. And I can maybe address that. We'll see. It's not a strong suit of mine to deal with UV mapping. I don't like UVs. I'll see. Yes, you can join lots. Oh, see, that's a good answer for the guy who wants to self-learn Maya. That's a better answer than I give. There are a lot of community forums and stuff that you can ask questions to. That is a good point. Clarence Channel. Have you ever been distracted by your family when they need you here, but you're working on your animation project which you're struggling on? Wait, have you ever get distracted by your family when they need you here? I'm assuming that you're trying to say, have I ever been working on a project that I need to finish, but I'm being distracted by family and they need me as well? If that's the question, the answer is yes. It happens all the time where you're working on something and you get distracted, but priorities, there might be a certain time block that is like work time, but generally it's really not that hard to go and take a little break and help out. And balance. Have I heard of a school called Nomen? Totally have, and I've never taken a class there, so I don't know much about it. I've heard of Nomen. I don't have much insight. Sorry. Hello from Nepal. Hello to Nepal. Chang. Fepin says, when I import a downloaded Maya model, it says that to restore my factory settings. I don't know. What is factory settings? I'm not sure. It shouldn't hurt anything. I mean, if you're really like customizing your layouts and customizing your hotkeys and all that kind of stuff, if you're doing all of that, then maybe you don't want to reset your defaults. But if you aren't really messing with that type of stuff and you've just done little things here and there that you're not even really sure what your settings would be, then it's probably not a big deal to say, yeah, reset. How many hours do I spend on a single scene on 3D animation? Totally depends on the scene. It could be 4 hours. It could be 4 weeks. Just depends on how much I'm focused on it. Like if I'm really working on it, it should be faster versus if I'm like kind of doing it off and on and I'm not really disciplined. Ooh. I speak Japanese, Chinese, and French. Would knowing another language help me in all being hired as an animator, storyboarding, or character designer? I mean, if you wanted to work in the US, as an example, then knowing English would help. Seems like you speak English. I don't know. But if language is a barrier, but it's not like a wall that you can't impasse. Like you will have to learn enough to communicate with those around you. But if you speak that many languages, like there's a lot of work in those industries. I mean, in those countries that speak those languages, like you should be good. You should be able to find work and not have too many communication issues. And you're very capable of learning languages, it seems, which is awesome. Do you always start from the bottom in animation? I mean, you always start from having no experience, but you don't have to like start at the bottom of like a food chain and then work your way up, pay your dues. Like that's not necessarily the case. It's just about like, what are you ready to take on work-wise, workload? There's a lot of different paths that people take. Some people go kind of right to the big stuff. Some people take some time going through. Depends. Jordan asks, you were a teacher. Did you ever get overwhelmed learning everything you learned? Seems like you're well-rounded in different programs. Thank you. I never got overwhelmed learning everything I learned because I enjoy learning. I really enjoy learning. So no, I never had an issue learning. I mean, there were certain topics that I struggled with more than others, but I never got overwhelmed with it. It was more of like, okay, I just need to focus on this thing for a couple hours at a time to like get the concepts and memorize things. But nope, I really enjoy it. Okay, good. I'm making progress. I'm only like 15 minutes behind the comments. I'm working through it. How important is it to maintain LinkedIn when it comes to getting a job? Would you be open to connecting with any viewers? I maintain a LinkedIn, and a lot of people do. You don't have to, but it's just another platform to connect with people and keep connections warm. And LinkedIn's pretty useful in the animation industry because you can find a lot of recruiters and ask questions. And I actually asked a DreamWorks recruiter a question back when I was in college, and one of them answered and gave me an answer. And I was too intimidated to respond back, but when I started working at the company, I actually found the message and was like, hey, you replied to my thing. Thanks. And we're like friends. So, yeah, no, LinkedIn's a good platform. There's nothing against not doing it, but like just another tool. You should always have as many tools that you can handle. And would I be open to connecting with viewers? The answer is yes, I'd be open to it. I don't generally, I don't add every viewer on Facebook because most of, we don't know each other that personally until we chat and we comment. Like there are some people who I meet in the comments and on DMs and we chat and we become friends. And it's yeah, totally normal. But I'd be open to it. I don't know. I don't want to give a weird answer, but I don't want 1,000 people to add me on LinkedIn all of a sudden. But yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. Doru says, I want to do animation course. Give me some information. I am going to be teaching some if you want to join the Patreon community. Otherwise, Animation Mentor is awesome, and there's a lot of self-teaching that can be done. but it's a certain point, animation courses are good. Small says the fees for Patreon. Oh, sorry. The fees for Patreon are quite high for a student from India if you can do something about it. The fees for Patreon? I don't know if you mean like they have like fees on the back end that I don't know about, or like the numbers I picked. I'm not sure. We will see. We will look into that. But yeah, these numbers are all kind of based on all the stuff on Patreon, like numbers wise, which again, optional if you're just joining. That's all based on like if people kind of jump on there and are doing those numbers, then I can make more stuff for you guys. If I change all the stuff and it's all like lower, then I don't actually gain the time trade-off to be able to do any of it. You know, I can't deliver. I don't know if that's helpful, but we'll see how it goes. Like we'll see how it evolves. People talk about rendering. Can you make a tutorial of a 3D guy transforming into the Hulk or something big, or maybe a vampire really struggling with it? I actually had a project kind of pop around to consider of a guy turning into the Hulk. I don't know the best way to do that. In After Effects or something, like if I were taking live footage and trying to make it happen, I feel like it'd be easier than trying to do it in 3D. I don't have a lot of insight. I don't know if I'll make a video on that one because I don't think I am the right person to ask for that. I don't have any experience in that field. Unless it's like face controls trying to make it look like a vampire, but aside from that, I don't know. We will see. How do I think of what to animate? How do I think of an idea of what to animate? I don't know. They just kind of pop up every now and then. I don't have a lot of good, like, I don't know. Usually it's just ideas that pop up out of like crazy, oh, a squirrel. Oh, you'd be funny. That kind of stuff. Any advice for a cartoon animator trying to break into feature film or VFX? Just keep working on stuff and keep putting it out into the world and keep sharing it with people so people are aware that you do the stuff. Improving your reel and just continuously get better and do more stuff. If people see your work and they go, okay, he's okay. You may not hear from him. Keep working on stuff. They see it again and go, oh, he's improved. Let's go ahead and hire him now. Keep going. Talking about rendering and stuff. What if I know Blender? Can DreamWorks hire me? Depends on the department and the work you do. We don't use Blender at DreamWorks, so you would have to learn other software to do your job, but there's nothing wrong with that. That happens all the time in studios. So if you're a really talented modeler and you use Blender, then that's fine as long as you can model in whatever the studio needs you to model in. But if you see it as a barrier and you're like, oh, I only know Blender and I'm not going to learn anything else, we're going to have some issues. But, it doesn't matter what software you know, as long as you can adapt and learn what they need you to learn. And that's very normal because like if you animate in Maya even, DreamWorks doesn't use Maya. They use Primo, which is their thing. They have to teach you because you would never have been able to use it because they built it. It's totally understandable. Let's see. Cat Dog, is there diversity in the animation industry? I know there's not enough diversity in the animation industry. As a white dude, I don't have a lot that I can really like share on that topic because it's not something that, it's not, I don't know. I don't have a good insight into that, but I know that there isn't enough diversity is a very commonly understood thing, but that's really all I can go into detail because I don't know how else to answer that. Hey, BJ's here. Hello. What software in the animation field? Tons of everything. Is going to a professional college really worth it for international students? Like an animation school or something, then to be an animator, yes. But like, I don't know what you mean by professional college for international students. The most important thing is that you learn what you need to learn to do the job. That's, if you can learn what you need to learn to get hired somewhere, then it was worth it. If the curriculum isn't good enough or if the content's not there, then maybe not. Why don't I use Nuke? I don't know if that's for me or not, or somebody else. I just I've used it at DreamWorks a little bit, but I just never learned it. I use After Effects for everything, just because it's what I use. I have no reason to use Nuke. Animators don't use Nuke, and I just haven't. I'd be open to learning it. I just haven't needed it. On your YouTube banner, you're sitting next to an animated character. Did you buy the character, and how expensive was it? Because I'm thinking of doing it. I'm sitting next to an animation mentor rig. I did not buy it. Well, I mean, I kind of, by going to the school, bought my school. The character in my thing where I'm sitting next to him on the couch, he's an animation mentor rig. People have asked me to share him with them. I actually can't, even if I want to, I cannot share that rig because it requires an animation mentor login to access that rig. So if you want that specific character, you have to go to Animation Mentor to get it. And not like buy it from them, but like take the classes. You get all the rigs when you take their classes. Prem is going to college. Have fun. Thank you for joining. Evan, I like to model and I dream to be a modeler, but I'm not able to handle After Effects. No, you don't have to know After Effects to be a modeler. No one models, like After Effects is not a 3D modeling package, so it doesn't matter at all. Oh, someone told Tom Marvolo, really? Of course he modeled that himself. No, I didn't model that myself. No way. I am not a character modeler. I could not have modeled that if I had tried like to stay alive. I couldn't have done it. Seems like a kind of a aggressive reply. Be nice. Reading through. Am I excited to see How to Train Your Dragon in World? I am. I'm very excited. I want to see the finished version. I saw storyboards. I will show that comment. Let's see. Sorry, it took me a while to get to the comments. Motion capture software used in the industry, game animation and stuff, yeah, but for like movies, I mean for like The Hobbit and Avengers, yeah, they use it. For Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, they don't use motion capture software and technology for the character animation. They'll use it for layout and stuff for camera moves, but they won't use it for character animation, and they're not going to. So motion capture is not a threat to animators. Don't even sweat. It's the same thing where people were like, computers are going to animate for us in the future. You know, like 2D artists were like, computers are going to ruin us and going to take all our jobs. And no, motion capture is not going to ruin the industry. How long for the portfolio? As long as it takes to show your best stuff, under 2 minutes or a minute. It should be short. Is Cinema 4D good for beginner animation? Yeah, Cinema 4D is just another good tool. Works really well with After Effects as well. They're all good tools, for sure. 3D modeling, easy to learn. Easy to learn the concepts. Hard to get good at it because you just got to put in the time. You know, it just takes time. Someone is asking me if I can do a favor. I'm not sure I understand. What is it? Are there free programs like After Effects? There is a free VFX editing software from HitFilm. If you look up hitfilm.com, HITFILM, hitfilm.com, they do have like a free VFX software. Don't know much about it, but they have it. What is best PC build for VFX and 3D modeling? Good price. I am working on that. I'm updating my computer setup soon, and I'm hoping to get that company to kind of chime in on what the best stuff is for all of this industry. But I don't know. I don't have the answer yet. To people who want a cheap animation learning program, I don't know anything about that one. Cool. Oh gosh, it jumped again. Shoot. Sorry, it keeps jumping. Okay, we're almost there. We're only 9 minutes behind now. Making progress. Wait. I'm trying to understand this comment. Mariana says, I like that animation's working for my movie. I like that an animation's working for my movie, and I search the animations, but I don't have a famous company. I'm not sure what that means. You could do a person turning into the Hulk in Blender. Cool. I mean, you can do it in whatever software. I personally have no experience doing it. Hosco animations. When it comes to animation blend shapes maybe, but I don't do blend shapes that often. When it comes to animation show reels, would it be better to have a show reel that has a couple of short, really good animations or one big animated shot? Short, really good animations. If the one animated shot is not as good as you want the best. Doesn't matter the length, doesn't matter if they go together. You just want the best work. If you did like a whole short and only like these pieces of it are really good, then only show those pieces. Don't show the whole thing. Have I heard of the 11-second club? I like it a lot, actually. I've never done one, but it's a great place to learn. Hello, Robbie. How do I feel about Game of Thrones? I have not watched Game of Thrones. I want to watch Game of Thrones, but I have not had time to get through more than the first season. So I don't know what happens. Do not put a spoiler. Please. I will block you if you put a spoiler to anything. I'll be mad. But I've stayed away from spoilers to Game of Thrones because I plan on watching it. Just haven't gotten there yet. Reading through comments, trying to find questions. Is there any university or higher education required to get into big studios? You don't need a degree. If that's your question, you don't need to have a degree. You just need to have the skills. Does DreamWorks consider 2D animators for jobs, or do they prioritize 3D animators? It does not matter. We have a lot. I mean, if we're doing 3D movies, you need to be able to animate in 3D. But we have a lot of 3D animators who started and did most of their work in 2D. It's not a barrier, and they won't see it as a barrier. They'll see it as an asset as long as you can still do the work. If you're like an amazing person at 2D and you just can't do 3D, then they might not hire you because you can't do what they need you to do. But yeah, no, if you can do 2D animation, you can still do 3D, then totally. Have you ever tried a layered workflow like a lot of animators use at Pixar? Yeah, I've tried it. I'm not very good at it. That's probably just because I haven't done enough of it. Nothing against it. I want to get better at it. I just haven't figured it out yet. Should you focus on 3D modeling or 3D animation? Whichever makes you happier. Doesn't matter as far as like career direction. Just whatever you want to do. Coding. Yay. Thank you for joining. I'm almost at the bottom. Oh, I'm almost at the bottom. Cool. We are almost there, guys. I'm trying to catch up with your guys' answers. I like to do work in motion captures. I don't know where to start. Help me. I don't know, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I don't know how to start with motion capture. I have no experience in that field. I would reach out to people who are actively doing it, though. Look through like credits of movies and see if you can find them on LinkedIn. Ask them how they got started. I find it tough to approach people within the industry. Any advice? Practice, I guess? I don't know. I mean, the people are nice. People in this industry are super nice. It's very welcoming. Like, just give it a shot, you know? Like, you reach out to me, so that's good. You're on the right track. It's intimidating sometimes to reach out to people who are in the industry, and like if you have people you look up to, like it's hard to sometimes reach out and ask questions, but more often than not, they're like happy to help. It's just a matter of whether they have time or whether they see the message. So if they don't reply, don't take it personally. A lot of times people just don't see it, or they just haven't had time to get to it yet, or something like that. Like I get a lot of messages from people now with the YouTube thing, and I have not yet been able to reply to everybody because I try to get through messages, but there's so many. So just reach out to lots of people and go to networking events and just do your best. It's okay. A lot of people are shy too, so no one's going to be upset about it. Everyone understands. I'm currently doing a bachelor degree in animation. I really want to work at Disney and Pixar. Is the bachelor degree enough? The bachelor degree itself is not even necessary. I'm not telling you you're wasting your time because that's not what I want to say. I'm saying that the bachelor degree is not a requirement. So if you're going for the bachelor degree, you're thinking about it slightly wrong. If you get a bachelor degree from your program, then awesome. Cool. But focus on learning the information and getting the skills, not getting the piece of paper. If the piece of paper comes with it, then awesome. But your focus should be on the skills and the abilities and not the paper at the end. Because the companies don't care about where your paper came from or if you even have one. I don't have a degree. They want to know that you can do the work. Let's see. Can you tell us how to approach an animation scene? I have videos coming up on how to plan out a scene. I also have a whole Patreon thing that if we get enough people over on Patreon, I'm actually going to do. A lot of people have been asking for a full shot walkthrough from planning through polish all the way through. I don't have time to do that right now, but if we get enough people over there that can help with that, then yes, then that will be coming. But there are videos coming on planning as well. I'm going to drop the link to the Patreon in case you're wondering. By the way, if you keep hearing me talk about Patreon and you're like, okay, enough, we get it. Sorry. There is a video on the Patreon page. You should just watch the video because it'll explain what that is and why you should care. So if you're interested, check that out. Where are we at? Starting a studio in a place where the animation industry is practically non-existent. Any tips? Wow, starting a studio, that is awesome. Good luck. I don't know. I don't, as much as I would love to give you awesome tips, I don't have the experience with like building a studio. Hire good people, get good work. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know. Focus on quality. I don't know. I want to help, but I don't know the answer. Have I been to SIGGRAPH? Yes. Do I have any networking tips for meeting and conventions? Bring business cards. Practice your handshakes. Make sure you know how to like hold eye contact. Listen when people talk. Remember names. Make notes of who you met. If you want to reach out to them, do it quickly. And like if someone gives you a business card, write down like how you met them, what you talked about, so you don't forget. You seem like a very cool, well-rounded dude. You seem like you'd make a great animator and boss one day. Thank you. Appreciate that. I will show this comment. So Daniel tried to plug himself, and YouTube held the comment for review. I'm going to allow it. Basically saying that he's CVing for SIGGRAPH, and there's his Twitter handle. I will allow it. Am I a fellow Minnesotan? I am not from Minnesota, but my parents have been here for 5 years, and I have been visiting for a while. I've been in Minnesota probably for 1.5 years total, not all at once. But yes, I've been here for 3 of the crazy winters, and this year I've been here for the whole thing. So I understand the pain of a long winter, but I'm not from Minnesota. I'm from California. I'm from SoCal. Is the animation industry in Hollywood always hiring? More or less, depending on like what part of it. Yes, there's always work to be had. Not every studio is always hiring, but yes. Have I heard about Toons animations from India? I have not heard about it. I am heading to bed now. Oh wow, it's 5 a.m. for Lauren. Shoot, thank you for joining. I won't be leaving the live up, but if you want to watch this later, okay, so for everyone watching, I'm not leaving this live up. This is going away, becomes unlisted once I hit stop. It goes off of being able to find it. But if you take the URL from up above and save it somewhere, you can type it back into the browser and you can rewatch or drag around. It's still available for you to watch afterwards if you have the link, but you won't be able to find this on your own. So, and if you got an email or something, if you subscribed, if you haven't already subscribed, consider, but if you are subscribed, you'll get an email when these things go live, I think, or notifications are on. I don't know. Scottish Phoenix, thank you for telling her to copy the link in case she's not here. What skill should you have to be an awesome animator? Be observant, be nice, and live your life, because you have to absorb life to bring things to life. Let's see. I feel that pain. I'm not going to sleep. I have college today. I remember those days. I have that all the time where it's like, I'm not going to sleep. I could be up in 3 hours. Shouldn't have worked so late. I feel it. Hello. How do I say that? Hicks to be blue, both clueless and helpless. I don't know how to say the name, but hello. Shout out. Daniel, do I think there's any up-and-coming cities that are going to be a hub for animation and VFX to rival LA and Hollywood anytime soon? Vancouver is booming with work. Vancouver has tons of work. Other than that, I know San Francisco has a lot of like game studios and things, like smaller indie games, mobile games. But I don't know. Montreal, Toronto, London. There's a lot of work in a lot of places, but I don't know about rivaling. Vancouver is the only one I can think of. Can you learn animation for free from somewhere? YouTube, probably, is my best recommendation. There are tons of video tutorials written to, yeah, tons of documentation. Hello, Amon says, you are a wonderful person. Please start making tutorials and stuff too. I am starting to make tutorials. If you haven't already seen, I made a parenting tutorial, which is both a parenting tutorial.
I have a reminder for Sir Wade.
Hey, Google, stop. Just got a reminder for me. What was I saying? Tutorials. Yes, if you want like a parenting tutorial, if you're thinking from a technical standpoint, that takes care of it. If you just want to know how to make robots to animate in Maya, same video, accomplishes 2 goals. I made that video. It's my most recent upload, so if you're interested in that. I am making tutorials now. They are on their way, and more are to come. You can vote on the new ones on Patreon. Let's see, when it comes to hiring, do you know if there is any bias on students who have graduated for several years versus that are fresh out of college? There's not really a bias. I don't think there's a bias, no. It's just a matter of like, are you a junior animator or are you several experienced years in, regardless of where you are college-wise? I don't think it really matters. No bias. That's my answer. Let's see. I was planning on doing some different college things that will get me a decent start in animation and modeling, then do animation school somewhere else, like AM. Is it a good pathway choice? If you can afford it, then yeah. Some people, it's like a choice between like, do I do college, university, or animation school? If you want to be an animator, animation school. If you're not sure, then I don't know. But a lot of colleges don't have a good enough curriculum to get you jobs once you graduate. So just consider that. And like maybe it's better to go to a community college if you're not sure and save some money than to go to like a 4-year. A lot of opinions, but try stuff and see what works, and just be smart about money. Don't go into debt. Don't get loans. Like, try to do it the smart way. Any tips for networking? I have no idea who to talk to and if I should send them a message or meet them in person. I mean, don't stalk anybody, but messages are good. Start with messages and comments and that kind of thing, and just reach out to people who do work you admire, and reach out to people who you think have insight. Don't reach out to people because you think they can help you get somewhere or get something. Don't do it for selfish reasons. Reach out to people because you're genuinely curious on what they do and what they've done and how they've done it, and you just want to learn from them. That's a good reason. So look for the people who you can learn from. That is a really good case proxy. Oh, did I answer that? I did. Well, not a good answer. Yeah, again, just to mention, there's not a bias on whether you've graduated or whether you're fresh out of college. There's really not a bias. Just make the best use of the time. Like if you graduate and you're going into the industry, or you're trying to go, then cool, do it. And if you've been out for a couple of years, then just do what you can, make the best of that time, so that you have some stuff of like, oh, you were in college, what have you done since? And you have some cool stuff like, oh, I've done this and I've done that, and I did this on my own. I went over here and I experienced this. I went traveling for a couple of years. Like whatever it is, doesn't have to all be work. Just live your life, do some cool stuff that you can share some experiences from. Is there any difference between Indian animation and a foreign one? I have no idea. Thanks for the link to rewatch. Go to bed. Okay. Thank you for Noelia for joining. 1 a.m. Jeez. Wow. Thank you guys for coming in. Crazy time zones. We were almost at the bottom. When I hit the bottom of the questions, we'll probably end the Q&A. But we're almost there. Anja asked, does being a YouTube animator have a good future, like in comparison to working in a studio? I mean, it's different. It's nothing. I mean, it's nothing. What I'm doing on YouTube is nothing like what anyone's doing in a studio. I'm not making movies. I'm making videos to help you guys learn, which I think is a noble goal, but it's very different. Does it have a good future? I hope so. We'll see. SIGGRAPH stuff. Alex has to go, but if I find the time, the question about the panels and layouts. I can't choose the anim cam as a panel in the saved layout. So how do I save my show preference? Okay, wait. I can't choose the anim cam as a panel in the saved layout. If you're having problems like that with Maya, where you're telling it to do something, and it should be doing it, but it's just not listening to you, you should delete your preferences for Maya. Say what you need to, but you should delete, like in documents, Maya, there's like version like 2017, 2018. Take the folder and rename it. Like close Maya, then rename it to like 2018, like old, 2018 backup, 2017, whatever. Just so it no longer reads the year, the version number. And then when you reopen Maya, it'll say, we don't have a default preferences. Would you like to create one? Yes. And that should refresh and flush out a lot of the bugs in your Maya session. That's a pro tip for you. How do you save your show preference on a panel? I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. That one I would go to forums if you can. I'm not sure. See you, Sean. Thanks for coming. SBD, subscriber from India. Thank you. Let's see, Laurent. How do you build a Minecraft house? I mean, do you use 2 screens for your animation, like one for the character and one for the graph editor? Wait, is this 2 questions? How do you build a Minecraft house? I mean, you can actually export. I did this in college. You can actually have a Minecraft world, and you can export. You can export the data from Minecraft into Maya directly, blocks and textures. So you can actually just take your Minecraft worlds and just port them into Maya. Super easy. But I mean, do you use 2 screens for your animation, like one for the character, one for the graph editor? I don't have 2 screens currently. I normally do, but I don't. I have an ultra wide monitor that's not the regular. It's super wide. So I actually use 2 halves of the screen as if it's 2 monitors. So yes, I go for a double screen. Would you be doing a video on editing on After Effects and adding sound effects and VFX? Yes, I plan on doing a lot of VFX stuff, which I haven't done any yet because I've just been doing animation stuff. But yes, I do a lot of VFX work and I want to bring that in. I also want to do sound effects and audio and dialogue for animation, so I'll do lots of that stuff. If you want to do film and animation together, which college is best? I don't know if that there is a college that focuses on that specifically. There's a lot of schools and online programs that talk about it, but I don't have a specific recommendation. I learned all my film knowledge from YouTube, quite honestly, from Film Riot, Video Copilot, Red Giant. Like, I learned all my film knowledge from YouTube, and animation I learned from Animation Mentor. That for me was enough to combine the two. So it just depends on your learning style. Alex, thanks for doing this. Really enjoyed the content. Found it helpful. Thank you. And thank you for watching the parenting video. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you for joining. See you later. Thank you. Do I have any tips from when to move on from blocking? I feel like I start splining too quickly. I'm not sure when I have enough poses. Yeah. Put way more keys in. Like, this is a message to everybody. Put way more keys in your blocking before you hit spline. Guaranteed that's the problem. If you're having issues going from splining to blocking, from blocking to splining, because you don't have enough information in there, and when you hit spline, the computer's doing too much work for you, and it's making your animation gross and swimmy and floaty, which means you need to put more anchors in the ground. You need to put more keys in there to tell it what you want, so that when you hit spline, it doesn't change all that much. So more keys. Am I going to see Incredibles 2? Of course I'm going to see Incredibles 2. Yes, I'm so excited. Do I know Corridor Digital? I love Corridor Digital. And would I like to collaborate with them? Totally. I have met them at a couple of conventions now, and I've been talking to them about doing something together. Hopefully, they're super busy. They have a lot of projects, and I'm one person, and they probably talk to a lot of people like me. But yes, I hope to do something with Corridor Digital in the future. I'd love to do a collab. Oh yeah, wait, I know I'm so huge by saying I was going to leave, but I don't think the chat will end enough for you to end the video. I know. I actually want to stay up to see how the ends. Well, thank you. It probably won't last too much longer, so you probably won't be up all night, hopefully. What days am I doing Q&A? So I have actually only done like 3. I think this is like my 3rd or 4th Q&A that I've ever done on this channel. I did one when I first started. It's a video that you can watch, and the rest have been live like this. And I don't leave them public to watch again afterwards because I'm afraid of, like, if I say something stupid and then someone watches it later. Also, they're like 2 hours long. No one's going to watch this. I don't think anyone's going to watch it for 2 hours, but I could be wrong. You have it on while you work. Anyway, the question of when am I going to be doing more Q&As? Lately, I've just been doing them based on when I've had time, because right now, the last month or so, I've had some time, but that time's going to go away. I've actually been planning on doing the Q&As, the rest of the Q&As, like when I can, I'll do some on YouTube. But for the most part, I've been actually scheduling monthly Q&As on Patreon. So if you want constant Q&As, 2 hours each, that are recorded that you can rewatch after, I'm doing those through Patreon, which I will drop the link for once again. I also am doing classes over there. You can vote on my videos. You can see the content that's coming soon. I have a bunch of blog posts basically of explaining how I do things, how I render my thumbnails, so on and so on. Currently using Blender because it's free. Maya is costly. Maya is free. Maya obviously costs a lot if you buy the commercial version, but you can get Maya for free. There is a huge difference between Maya and Blender. Both are good. Nothing's wrong with either one. But you can get Maya for free. No one knows this, apparently. Everyone always says, Blender's free, Maya's not. No, Maya's free. You can get it for free. And you should, because I have the free version. I only pay for the extended version if I'm doing commercial work, which is only part of the time, the monthly license. But yeah, normally I just use the student version, which is a free version. No watermark, no problem. Do you plan to do basic animation concept videos on YouTube in the future? Yes, I have a whole list. I have a total of, I can't even count them. Just in my animation specific categories, I'll read you my categories. Future content. I have computer and hardware videos. I have software videos. I have Maya training videos. I have animation specific. I have animation acting, video reference, animation mentor, interviews, getting hired, moving to LA, some different series ideas, CTN, Expo, VFX. I have a lot of different categories of animation, and within those, just for the animation one, I have one. I have 38. On my roster right now, I have 38 animation-specific videos on my roster to do for you guys. Which, by the way, because I didn't mention, I cut this footage. I cut this footage from a video. I was filming my parenting tutorial video that I just posted a couple of days ago, and I mentioned, you wouldn't know because I cut the footage, but I mentioned in my recording session that I was looking through all my YouTube content and realized, I mean, I have like a ton of new people, new viewers. We have like 23,000 people subscribed on YouTube now, which is crazy. And I only have like 24 videos or something public. Like, there's not a lot of videos. I don't think all of them are animation. Like, there's a couple that aren't. So we have like 20 videos about animation. That's not a lot. But I have literally double that. I have 40 animation specific videos outside of all those other categories. Like, I named all those like 10, 12 categories. And one of the category has 40 videos that I plan on doing. I want to be making a lot more content a lot faster. My issue is having the time to do it because I'm spending all my time doing freelance, which again, just to bring it back to that, like that's why I started the whole Patreon thing, because if I can do the Patreon thing, I can give you guys extra content outside of the YouTube videos that could help you learn, classes, Q&As, blah, blah, blah. But if that picks up and a bunch of people are on Patreon, then I don't have to spend as much time doing the freelance stuff, and I can spend all my time just making videos, which is what I'd rather do. So if you're into it, cool. If you're not, no pressure. But yeah, no, I plan on making more content. If you want to vote on those videos, it's another Patreon thing. Anyway, let's see. So yes, I plan on doing lots of basic animation concept videos on YouTube in the future. I want to do a lot for Animation Mentor students as well, and all students, but based on what I remember from Animation Mentor. So like, as someone who is starting AM, what advice can you give? Oh, I'm almost, yeah, we're getting close to the end. For someone who is starting Animation Mentor, what advice can I give? I would say, first and foremost, like, put in the work, put in lots of work, focus, take advantage of the time, because you'll never have such a good opportunity to have feedback so readily accessible from a mentor scheduled to work with you, which is awesome. So take advantage of that. Other than that, take advantage of the community. Like, talk to the other students across, not just your 8 people in your class or however many, talk to the other mentors, mentees. Like, talk to all the other students in your level and above your thing. Like, what advice do they have for you going into the next class? Ask the people in the last classes, like, hey, what would you do differently if you were in my shoes? Like, talk to your community, because those are the people who are all going to have jobs in 3 years or half a year or in a month. And you want to be friends with them, and you want to be able to learn from them and, you know, help each other. So take advantage of the community and take advantage of the mentor by putting in the work and asking good questions and being prepared every week. Do you need a high-end PC for working on 3D animations? It helps, but it's not 100% necessary if you're not doing super complex stuff. But high-end PCs do help, or Mac, but I prefer PC, whatever. What's the difference between Maya Education and the other version? There is no difference. You can't use it for commercial purposes. That's the only difference. You have all the features. There's no watermarks. There's no resolution gates. You're good. No difference. You are can a favor. Are you a message for inspiration for other animators for Animate for Cine? I am assuming that question meant, can I do you a favor and give you a message of inspiration for other animators who want to animate movies? Is that the correct interpretation? And if so, I would say what I said earlier is that everyone starts from the bottom. Everyone starts from zero, and everyone like starts without having any information and knowing nothing. So just keep working at it and keep growing, keep talking to people, and, you know, get feedback on your work and take criticism and keep growing and just keep making more stuff. If you make one thing, make another thing. Projects are helpful. Self-discipline. You are my greatest inspiration because you are building self-confidence. I can assure that one day I'll meet you no matter what. How much risk it takes. I am happy to have helped, and I'm glad I can help inspire confidence. And I think you can do it, no matter how much risk it takes. It sounds like you are dedicated. You can do it. You can become an animator. You got this. Can we use the student version for YouTube? What if we want to monetize it? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. That's like a gray area. I currently have the paid version of Maya, but I don't always use that version. Like, I have one version that, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It's a gray area, and I'm going to choose not to answer it and just say, like, if no one knows you're using the student version, then are you using the student version? I don't know. That's why this is not a public video. That's why it gets unlisted, because who knows? Just make the video, you know? Have you ever heard about Industrial Light and Magic? Yes, I have a shirt from them. I toured them. I have a lot of friends who go there, who work there. I mean, I love Industrial Light and Magic, one of my favorite studios. Hey, bro, can you do vlogs at least once in a while on Patreon? I plan on joining your Patreon. Thank you. I actually am working on some vlogs. So my wife and I just traveled around Europe for 3 weeks, and I decided that I wanted to get from place to place. And I didn't want to we're getting on an airplane and we're going to the next country. Instead, Doctor Strange teleporting portal. See if I can pull up the picture really quick. But yes, I'm working on vlogs actively right now. And I don't think that my channel is the right place to launch a bunch of vlogs because people are here for learning more than for vlogs. I'll put some vlog content, probably. Like in the way I did my Why I Left DreamWorks video, has kind of some vlog content in there in the cinematic piece, but it's not a vlog. There will be some here, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of that on Patreon. So there'll be tons of more behind the scenes. Like if anyone's interested in what I'm doing most of my day when I'm working on videos and I'm doing this project on freelance and I'm trying to reach out to this company and I'm like, oh, I should get a video project and money for this month, and I try to go do a thing yeah, for all the stuff I do throughout the day, I'm capturing all of that, and I don't have time to edit through it for really nice videos on YouTube. So I put a lot of that. I'm putting a lot of that on Patreon. So if you're interested in that stuff, I am doing a lot of stuff like that on Patreon. But I'm losing my voice. I haven't talked this much in a while. Where's the thing? I can't find the thing. I wanted to show you the Doctor Strange effect I'm doing for a vlog, but I can't find it. So instead, I'm going to show you a dust effect, which you guys know what this is from. I don't have the whole thing. I just have a frame. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Bear with me. It's worth it. Come on. No! Ruined it. There we go. Okay. Almost there. Sorry. This is not very exciting. Come on. I can't do much better than that. That's the best frame I got. I'm sorry. This is a terrible example. It's the best I can show you on my phone. The dust effect, whatever. Do you know about Indian Masterpiece Animation? I do not know about those. To check those out later. How do you deal with scenes that are over 2 million polys? I've never counted polygons, but if I have a scene that has a lot of geometry that it's not loading properly, I'll usually hide what I don't need while I don't need it, and then turn it on later if I need to. Samantha's been taking notes. Awesome. I'm glad I've been saying stuff worthy of note-taking. Will I make short animated films on this channel? Yes, I have an idea. So I have a project I'm currently working on that I haven't talked about yet that I'd like to share with you. So for those of you, yes, that's direct from Infinity War. Yes, tutorials, working on all that. I have a kind of a short film, not a short film, but a short project that I don't want to call a short film because it's not as ambitious. But I have a short project that I've been working on. It's been slow going. I really enjoyed Zelda Breath of the Wild. I have been modeling the Guardian, the thing with the legs. I've been modeling that off and on for a couple of months. It's just taking me a while because I'm not a modeler, but I've been modeling that, and I'm going to surface it, animate it, rig it, all the stuff. I've got somebody from Twitter who has agreed to do the music for the short. I have some friends who will help me film it, and I want to basically make the Guardian in real life, animated it, all the stuff I wanted in real life with actors. Yeah. I'm not going to be doing fully animated movie things, but I'll be doing animation integration in my content. Anyway, how much different in game design and animation? I do not know. I am not the best person to ask, but that would be better suited for a Facebook group to ask that question. Noelia, what advice would you give for animation artist block? I would animate, but sometimes just get stuck on what to animate. There's a cool website that I forgot what it's called, but I bet you could find it on Google. It's a really interesting thing. It's basically just like a slot machine. Just 3 categories that spin. You hit a button and it randomly selects thing. And it's character, object, action, or something like that, or emotion, I forget. But that's a cool thing. If you just take, or if you don't want to use that, take a bunch of scraps of paper, 3 piles, cut tiny scraps, and say I don't know, choose different professions for the first one. I'm just making this up right now. I'm going to make a note of this. Sorry, I'm writing this down so I don't forget. But first pile of scraps of paper, write down different professions. Second, write down objects, something you can model, or something that like don't. I wouldn't say like, oh, like characters like alien, dragon, because you might not have all those rigs. You might not be able to draw all those things, or like whatever type of animation you're doing. So profession, because that's like the character, the outfit, the mentality. So the mentality, the profession. Then the object, like if you can make a chair, if you can make a fork, if you can make a knife, if you can make a gun, if you can make a bomb, like it sounds really bad. I just got really like, if you can make a calendar, if you can make a light, a laptop, like object, prop, and then like emotion or action or something, and then just like pick randomly from cups, like, switch them up, shuffle them, and say, okay, chef, lizard, and then emotion, do emotion, excitement, chef, lizard, excitement, and then do I don't know. So then say, okay, well, a chef, a lizard, and the emotion is excitement. You have to decide, like, well, the chef, maybe he's excited. So then figure out, like, what would be fun? What would be fun to make? Like, how about, like, a chef that is, like, in the kitchen and he's cooking, and he reaches in to get something, and he sees a lizard, and, like, the audience expectation is, like, oh, he's going to freak out. There's a lizard in his kitchen. He's like, ah, delicious. Like, oh, God, it's terrible. Or, like, he's like, oh, yum. Oh, like, he gets excited. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, just come up with, like, piles of things and just randomly pick stuff, and that might give you fun ideas to animate. Or you might just get better ideas from that. Maybe you heard me say, like, that's weird, but I had a better idea. There you go. Oh man, I'm losing ground to the comments. Okay. You are favor are your messages in Spanish for inspiration and you can tell us. Wait. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm gonna, let's see. Thank you for your time to help us out. I want to know if I really need to learn proper sculpting to make real characters, or is there a way to get away with it? I mean, you could do sculpting, or you could do like vertex modeling. If you want to be a modeler, you'd need to learn the stuff. But if you don't want to be a modeler, you don't have to worry about it. I don't know. I'm not a modeler, so I'm not the best person to ask. Insomnia. Please tell in your Patreon, critique and review on Animation Rail. Does people from DreamWorks run this? Oh, so the question is, are other animators from DreamWorks or other studios going to help me critique people's work through my Patreon? The short answer is not really. It's mostly me. But I have brought people's, like, if I'm critiquing someone's work and I have friends around, like DreamWorks animators or other people, I'm like, hey, like, what do you think of this? Like, I'll sometimes get feedback from myself to give feedback from those guys. But no, I'm not going to promise to, like, bring in people to help me critique stuff. If people want to, then cool. But I'm not going to, that's not a for sure thing. It's for sure that I'll do it. It's not for sure that anyone else is going to have time to do it. Let's see. Do you animate the camera, or is it already set up before you have to? At DreamWorks on, like, the movies, like, there's a different department that does the camera animation than the animators. So there's that. Smaller studios, you do both, maybe. Depends. Me personally, I animate my own camera for my own, like, my shots on my own because I don't have anyone else to do it. So just depends. Yeah, a lot of people have insomnia. Yeah, no. Sleep is, you can sleep later, right? Can I take a selfie with you? Oh. Can you take a photo selfie? I don't understand how that's a selfie, but I will pause for 3 seconds. I'll do on air. 1, 2, 3. Okay. There. You can pause that frame if you need. I don't know. Now that you're popular, how do you respond to random strangers, aka fans on the internet, who ask you for favors? Like, can you edit and animate my video for free? Blah blah. Most of the time, hello. My wife is here. Huh? Almost done.
Oh.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of the comments.
You have so many comments.
I know, so many comments, which is awesome. But
you have, like, long, in-depth answers, and then the cute comments keep, like,
I know. I'm seeing more racking up right now.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I'll join you when I'm done. When I get to the bottom, if I can get to the bottom and get 15 seconds to do my outro, then that's when it ends.
Okay.
Okay.
I miss you.
I miss you too. Hi. Now that you're popular, how do I respond to random strangers asking me for favors, like edit and animating videos? usually I just try to be really nice about it and just like be honest. Like if people ask me, hey, can you do this thing for me? Can you make this video picture? Usually I just don't have time to do it. And so I just try to be nice and say like, sorry, like I just don't have time to do it. I don't know, just be nice. Like I'm not gonna be rude to people who ask for stuff. Like I know a lot of people don't understand how much work a lot of this stuff is, so I'm empathetic to it. Sometimes I don't have time to respond. I don't know. It just depends. What was the secret question at the interview? Oh, what was the secret? Okay. You know what? It's a good question. Let me try to think of an equivalent answer.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck?
So for those of you who know what this question's about, in my interview at DreamWorks video, I mentioned that the person interviewing me had a question for me, a task for me to complete that helped them determine whether I was the person they were going to hire. And it did help them decide that they wanted to bring me back for another interview. I didn't share what that question was because it's an interview tactic that that person uses and invented, I think. And I didn't want to share that with the world. That way, if someone ever got asked that question, like, oh, I've already thought of the answer to this. For those reasons, I don't want to share. Maybe that'll change in the future, but at this point, I'm not ready to disclose that information. But it's a good question, and I'm very tempted to tell you, but I can't. I just can't do it yet. I gotta get permission from that person to be able to share it. I know. No, yeah, you're right. You're welcome. I'm glad it's helpful. Let's see. Monkeys, would you have any suggestion for applying to studios that don't have current job listings for my position, character animator? Should I even do that, or do you think there's anything bad about it? If they have a thing that's like general application, feel free to send it in. Like if they give you the option, send it in. But never like if you want to be an animator or a modeler or a whatever, if you want to be a something and they don't have an opening for that, but they have like a lighting opening. Like if they have a lighting for a different job, don't ever send your resume for a different job that doesn't match. Like if they have like a general application, apply just in general and we'll keep your stuff on file. That's fine. Apply your, throw your stuff in there. But don't try to like if they're trying to find a person for this job, don't try to say, oh, well, there's not an opening for my job. I'll just try to like don't do that. No one wants that. It's not going to work. But yeah, if they have a general application thing, there's nothing wrong with that. And you can ask recruiters about it. It's totally fine. George Beard. Love it. DreamWorks, my name is in the credits of that one. Big fan. What do you think of Trolls, The Beat Goes On series? I haven't watched it, but I know a lot of friends who worked on it. I don't watch a lot of TV in general. I just don't have time to watch a lot of TV because I'm usually working so much on the computer. So I haven't personally seen it, but I know a lot of people who have worked on it and are very proud of their work on it. So I'm sure it's good. I know, time to bombard with questions. This is your last chance to get questions for this Q&A. The next Q&A I do, by the way, is probably going to be through Patreon. Like, I don't usually have time to do Q&As, and June was different because I had some time at the beginning of June. I get busy at the end of June, and I get busy through all of July, and I'm not sure what's coming in August, but I think I'll be busy. So, like, I will be busy in the next month. So, I don't know when I'll have time to do another public Q&A like this, so good thing you guys are in here. Save the URL if you want to rewatch it, but the rest of my Q&As, I've decided to schedule monthly 2-hour Q&As through Patreon. So if you want to continuously get Q&As and get lessons and classes and all that stuff, that's through Patreon. Costs money through Patreon, but you don't have to do it, obviously. But if you want to, there's that option. And that's why I can schedule it, because it becomes then something I can justify time-wise. Wow, we got a lot of questions all of a sudden. Shut up or stop, yes. Man, go with your wife. Continue on the next video. I will. She knew this was happening. She's okay with it. That's another thing. Time, It's 7 a.m. here. I really need to go sleep. Sorry. My wife is in the chat. She's watching your answers. Chaos Proxy. Should you ever apply for an animation position with required 3 years ago of experience when you don't have experience? So I'm getting in trouble. There's nothing wrong with applying for a position. Like if a position says you need to have 3 years of experience, there's nothing wrong with applying anyway. You should apply anyway. My job at DreamWorks before I left required a certain degree and a certain amount of experience in the field. I had neither one, but I got the job because my other experiences was good enough. My other experience and what I had done was enough to get me the job. So if it says like you must have a degree and you need to have this many years of experience, just apply. It's the same with like scholarships and stuff when people are in like high school and college, right? Like they're going to give a scholarship to somebody. And if nobody applies for the scholarship except for the one person who doesn't even meet the requirements, like if they're the only one who applied, they're going to get it. So with that type of mentality, like don't say no for them. If you're wondering, like, should I do it? Like, I think I could do it. I may not have just enough experience, but like maybe it's still good enough. Find out. Apply. You might get it. My voice is going out. That's going to be what ends this. What render do you use in Maya? I use Arnold. I didn't use to, but now it's built in and I love it. It's very fast. Also, how do you simulate fire and smoke? There are presets in Maya that you can use to simulate fire and smoke. It used to be called the visor. You'd go to Window Visor or Window Relationships Editor. No, I think it was just Windows Visor. But now it's called the Content Browser and has presets for a lot of different stuff, including fire and smoke. Personally, for me, I just use After Effects. I don't use Maya for most of that. I just haven't needed to. Yes, Baltimore is here. Hello, India. I mean, hello to India. Janesh? Did I say it? Janesh? Graphics Guru Animation Studio. Hi, I'm self-tutoring myself on 3D animation. Good luck on 3D art. How do I get about it? Because I'm really frustrated on the workload I need to work on. It's a lot. It's much easier to be taught by somebody. You can do it, but it will just take time. And you just got to keep work on projects, and the project will teach you stuff. Like if you don't know what it is you need to be learning, then like pick a project and you'll learn stuff through the project. That's how I'd do it. We can contact you through Patreon anytime, right? And how long would it take you to respond back? Yeah, no, I'm planning Patreon. I have an app on my phone now, so it goes through right to me. I haven't had anyone contact me on Patreon yet because if I have anybody on Patreon, they only just joined today. But yes, I will try to get back to Patreon. Yeah, I only have one person on Patreon. I'll try to get back to people pretty immediately, as I usually do, but that'll be a priority. Let's see. Yeah, I'll do my best. What is the most complex thing you've had to model? I started working on, I can't say what it is. It's nothing special, but there's a very small asset about this big in the How to Train Your Dragon 3 movie that's probably in the background. I don't even know if it's like, you'll probably never even see it. I can't say what it is because you haven't seen it in a previous movie, so I can't tell you what it is because it's unreleased NDAs. But I modeled a little thing, might be in there. It was very complex, very small. Other than that, I modeled this like inverted glass thing. I forget what they're called, a Klein bottle. We did that in college at Kenyatta, a class I was in, where we modeled a Klein bottle, which I had to like invert normals, and it was really complex compared to what else I had modeled. Other than that, I think the most complex model I've done is the Guardian from Breath of the Wild that I'm currently modeling. There's like a shape at the bottom. I don't know how to get it properly. I want to model it correctly. No shortcuts. I don't know how to do it properly. I had no idea. Yes, my wife has over 170,000 subscribers on YouTube. She's a real YouTuber, and yes, she is the inspiration of me starting a YouTube channel. She told me it would be a good idea, and she was right. So all of my content, you can thank her on her channel. So anyone who's interested in fashion, travel, lifestyle, especially those things, she has a YouTube channel, and she's awesome. And yeah, she's the reason I'm doing YouTube. She's a real YouTuber. Hello, Funky Trolls. Thank you for watching. How expensive is Maya? Maya is free. Thank you, Noelia. Yes, Maya is free for student versions. You can get it for free. You pay for the commercial version, which there's no difference. You just can use it for commercial purposes and share the project file. But yeah, no, Maya's free. Do you always use the latest version of Maya? AM is so far behind. I know. Animation Mentor is kind of in later versions. You can use 2017 Maya for Animation Mentor, and I have a video on how to do that. But I think this year they're releasing support for newer versions, finally. So, but yeah, I always try to use the latest version of Maya because I don't want to, I always love the new features. I try to learn them very quickly. So I always personally use the new version of Maya unless I need to use the old one for something specific. Yeah, new account. Well, if your new account on Maya, if your free trial is expiring on Maya, that means you're using the same version you were using 3 years ago. Because the student free versions of Maya last for 3 years, and you shouldn't be using the same version for 3 years. Like if you get the 2015 version 3 years later, you should be using 2017 or 2018. And that's a new license for that version. So yeah, no. Shutter Authority. Hey man, what's up? I remember you commenting. How's it going? Yeah, I don't use Maya 2015 on AM. I mean, you can use 2017 with Animation Mentor, and even though there's not like a built-in AMP thing, which I don't know if they're using AMP, but if they are, you can get an external thing to still work. You can use 2017, but they are upgrading, I believe. Thank you. I hope to see you on Patreon. Thank you. Yeah. I'm not going to get into political stuff. And I advise anybody commenting political stuff in my comments, please don't. I'm not going to get into political stuff, and I do not want other people going back and forth. This is a place of unity and helping each other, and not of argument or debates. Save that for elsewhere. Cat Dog, good night. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. Let's see. Yes, well, yeah, I do have a video on AM 2017. It's kind of a not great. I mean, it's effective. It tells you what you need to know, but I was a lot more boring at the time when I filmed that. And I think I was up at 3 in the morning. My hair is all crazy. Yes, there is a video. It's on my main channel page. I think it's at the very bottom. There's like an AM Animation Mentor section, and it has that one video in it. I have actually a list of Animation Mentor content if you're interested. Let me read those to you, and you can tell me which ones you like the most. You've been hanging out. You've been participating. So if you have a request, I will put it at the top of the Animation Mentor list just for you. Animation Mentor related videos are the alumni Q&A and discussion, where we discuss Animation Mentor, what we do differently, if anything, our thoughts on it. How to pick a mentor, how to make the most of your Animation Mentor experience, peer buddies, improving your demo reel, getting a job after AM, making animator friends, can you do it with a full-time job, topics like that. There's more too, but those are the ones I have solidified. Or anything else that you're wondering, let me know, and I will put on my list. Interested in animation, what kind of computer do you recommend? I have a video on my personal workspace, my setup. It's different than this workspace, but it's the same computer. So I have a video on my computer if you want to know specs. As far as like what's the best, I'm working on that. I'm working with a company. I'm asking a company if they want to work with me to make that video, because they have more knowledge on the topic of like all the different graphics cards and processors. They're experts, and I want to get their insights on my video. So if I can put that together, awesome. And if I can't get their support, then I'll just make the video with my knowledge, but I'll give it a shot. Hopefully soonish, next month or two. We're getting to the end. Yes, we're getting close to the end of the live stream. And if you want to be able to rewatch, grab the URL and save it, because this video goes unlisted after I turn it off. So Ray, where do we get fully rigged characters for free to practice animation? Maybe like a character used for your banner. The character that I use for my banner is from Animation Mentor, so you can't get it unless you're a student or alumni of Animation Mentor. But there's plenty of free rigs. Animation Mentor actually does have a free rig. He doesn't have like a full face with mouth and nose and all that stuff. He's more of a simple character, but he's super effective. There's a lot of free rigs. Animation Mentor has some. CGtarian is offering their rig for free. It's a good one. What's his name? I can't remember the name. I see his face. I see the face of the rig. I can't remember. He's an orange shirt. CGtarian has a good rig. There's a lot of free rigs out there. Not all of them are good. Not all of them are bad. You just got to download a bunch of free rigs and try them out. What do you recommend for those who want to be a rigger? Make some animator friends and have them rig rec and test your stuff. As far as learning, I don't know. I don't actually know where you go to learn rigging. I think there's probably online stuff about it, but personally, I don't know. I'm not a good rigger, so I've never learned. Did your animator friends tell you about the epic tales of Captain Underpants? They did. They did tell me the epic tales of Captain Underpants. I read all those. Those were a huge inspiration. Captain Underpants was a huge creative inspiration for me when I was first starting to draw comics. I think it was that and Calvin and Hobbes that made me start drawing comics, which put me on an artistic path. For hobbies and stuff. So actually Captain Underpants has a special part in my heart. One of the first things that ever got me animating, and it was my last DreamWorks credit that I know of. Is it difficult to find a job after you've graduated? It's always difficult to find a job until you get to a certain point that people come to you with jobs, which would be great, I'm sure. It's a challenge, I'm sure, but it's totally doable. And Facebook groups are super helpful to find out like if people are hiring. Well, yeah, I would say getting the best out of the class or making friends. Ooh, number rules are good too. Let me write these down. Can't pick. Play the left. Let me see. My voice is so gone. And make a little category. Get the best of AM. What else did you say? Making friends, demo reels. Gotcha. Okay, wrote those down. You got it. Do I have any suggested website to get good reference for body mechanics? I have a video on how to capture good body mechanics, and I'm pretty sure, I think in the comments I left a link to the Dropbox or Google Drive folder where I have a bunch of reference that I made available for people who watch that video. No one watched that video though. It didn't get any views. I gotta redo it. I have a video on capturing reference. You should find it on my channel. It's helpful. It may not be the most exciting video, but it is very helpful. But any good website to get reference for animation body mechanics? Really just YouTube. I don't have any good like specific website suggestions, but I do a lot of reference for a lot of my animator friends. So maybe we'll do a video on that, but I do a lot of crazy stunts and reference for people. I've already covered. Noelia will test your rigs to the fullest. That is there you go. You got someone to test your rigs. Actually, I want to get, there's a lot of people who make really cool rigs, and my wife had a good idea to ask them if I could review them on here. So you would, because no one wants to pay a bunch of money for rigs that they're not sure are going to work, including me. So if I can get them to send me some rigs, then I'll test them, and then people will know whether they're good, and they can buy them. We'll see. I'd love to do it. I just haven't gotten to it. Thank you, Syrup. I know I am tired, but I made, wow, it's midnight for me. I'm in Central Time right now. We've been doing this for what? 2.5 hours? We're almost there. We're almost at the end. Thanks for working comes down in advance. Hoping the series releases in July. A lot of hype on Trolls Beat goes on season 3. Nice. Character animators. Knife. Almost there. This will never end if people come. I know. Do you have courses in Lynda, Pluralsight, etc.? I've been thinking about making courses for Lynda and Pluralsight. I haven't made any. I've been thinking about it. I just haven't gotten around to it because I wanted to make my own courses. I've been trying to put together my own. I mean, I taught a whole Maya series, After Effects series, Photoshop series. Like I taught all the stuff I did at DreamWorks. And some of that I made for DreamWorks, and obviously it's mine. I created it. And some of it I just did on my own, and I also just brought it to DreamWorks. Anyway, I taught a lot of classes, over 50 classes at DreamWorks, Maya, Photoshop, After Effects, and so on. And I want to teach it on my own, which is why I haven't done it for Lynda or Pluralsight, because I want to do it for me, my way, without having to put it through that whole system, which is basically what the whole Patreon thing is about, that I didn't want to use another platform. So I figured if I do it through Patreon, I don't have to charge people like, you know, $100 to take this class or $500 to like get a, like the idea with the whole Patreon thing was that if anyone wanted to do it, they could sign up for like monthly things for as long as it's useful, instead of having to pay big workshop costs or school costs to learn this stuff. So I don't have courses in Lynda or Pluralsight, but I am doing courses. I'm just doing it through Patreon. Can you make a video on sticking to a project even when unmotivated? I have a video on my list, actually. Let me make a note of it, though. Staying motivated. Staying motivated project. Yeah, it's a tough one. We all deal with it. I will try to make a video about that because that's a good one. What color space do I use in After Effects? I think the default one, Adobe RGB. I know the answer. I know. Okay, I've hit the end of the comments. So if you're typing a question now, you can finish it. But other than that, no more questions for now. So let's see. Once I make this video unlisted, I think all the comments disappear, just as a heads up. So if you're like, I'm going to type one anyway, like I won't see it. If you have other questions for me, if you have any questions for me, feel free to put it on other videos. I try to read every comment. I don't always have time to get to them immediately, but I try to get to them eventually. Sometimes it's like a month later and I go through like a month of comments. I just sit there on my laptop and in bed. But if you missed the live stream, if you are just showing up for any reason and you like missed all this video disappears when I hit stop. So what you need to do is grab the URL, the YouTube / blah, 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 grab that, save it somewhere, because while the video will disappear from you being able to find it, you can still watch the video. You can still like find it through the link only. Thank you all for all the nice things. I'm linking one more time my Patreon page, which again, feel no obligation, but I'm putting it there in case you guys want to at least click on it and watch the video, and then you'll know what the deal is. You don't have to do it, obviously, but I made a video. At least watch it. I can see how many views it gets, and it's not a lot of views, so I can tell no one's clicking on the link, which is fine. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully the videos are helpful. I plan on making many more. Yeah, there's like 178 videos on this list or something crazy that I want to make for you guys. It's just gotta get the time to do it. So anyways, thank you guys for sticking in there. You can go through and just see all the things. Yes, you can tweet me questions. I don't use Twitter very often, but I will see it and hopefully get to it. I just don't tweet very often. I see a question about salaries. Depends. Cool. Dream Machine, yes. Thank you guys. Good night. Thanks for sticking around. I'll see you next time.